Alright, everyone, back again. Got Elsie here. Got two legends of the game in multiple aspects. Ned, Milo of Duke's Cupboard. What started as a market stall is now a thriving location in Soho. If you know anything about vintage, they're definitely on your radar. And if you don't know, you get to know. A lot of people come to London, they want to go to your End, your Selfridges, your ALD. Duke's Cupboard needs to be on that list because it's, in my humble opinion, probably the best vintage store in London. So, Ned and Milo, let's get podding.
Yeah, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, man, for that introduction, man.
You know, you got
that was a powerful introduction.
You got to give people the flowers, man. Especially like
that's making me blush.
It's like it's all nice, like talking someone up, almost like in a third party sense when they're not present. But like to say, like you guys deserve some flowers for what you've built, because like from the market stall, I think I like went once or twice when I was like a teenager. But like that. I fuck with that shop. I'm in that shop all the time. If I'm in West, I'm gonna pop in there and see what's going on.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
So
thank you. Thank you for coming on. But I suppose like place to start's probably like origins of like how you both got into like running individual like vintage setups to begin with, and then how you like kind of formed.
Yeah. So.
Well, how did you two meet? Like,
yeah.
How did you two meet? How did this?
Do you want to go?
Well, we actually, like Reese was just saying, we actually started separately before we met. So, so I started a stall on Portobello Market when I was around 21, which was probably like sometime in 2011 with another friend. We did it a couple of times, and as I was just clearing out, and I think Milo was doing a similar thing at the similar time, right?
Yeah.
But on a different market stall.
Yeah, I was selling on Berwick Street Market in Soho, old clothing of mine and bits and bobs I sourced, and so we're essentially doing the same thing on different parts of London. And then we met at the market. You walked past the store with someone, I think.
Yeah, I don't know if we sort of we were talking maybe through Facebook or something about swapping a jacket for a jacket. So I went down to Berwick Street Market with a mate and like with my jacket, a Berghaus jacket, like a. Was it a Trango or something?
It was a Mirror Peak.
I forget. It was like 12 years ago.
Yeah, good. It was nice though. Collar block, Trango or Mirror Peak that I wanted.
Yeah.
And I had an old Ralph Lauren Cookie Crest jacket from I think late 80s, early 90s that Ned wanted. So we met up to kind of trade jackets, and then realised we were doing the same thing and knew a lot of the same people. Both growing up in London, we kind of like had loads of mutuals and that's how we met. Yeah.
And then basically I was like, oh, you're doing the same thing I'm doing, but in a different part of town. I said, do you want to come down to Portobello on a Saturday and give it a go together? And then, this is 12 years ago, 2012. So we're a lot younger, fucking had no idea what was going on. We had no plans about what we were doing. And the clothing we were selling was like nowhere near as good as the stuff we're selling now, So
it was different then.
Yeah, it was different time.
You think for both of you that's like always what you want to do? You kind of just want to like hustle yourself and make your own way regardless of that was, as opposed to like going more conventional route and like getting a job somewhere.
Do you know what I mean? I didn't know what I wanted to do. I mean, I don't know what 21, 22-year-old really knows what they want to do. Maybe they do these days, but I didn't know. And I was just at home, my parents' house, not doing much. And my dad bought me the actual market stall, just as an attempt to like get me out of the house. You know what I mean, and do something. So and I was always into clothes. I was always like, wearing Ralph Lauren and buying bits and bobs of that on eBay like since I was like 15, 16, and kind of like always into fashion. So it was just like, and it was only 1-2 days a week just to get out the crib and do something and make a bit of change to kind of go out on the weekend. Really. Yeah. And I never really thought about. I mean, I did work in a coffee shop for a like part-time job when I was that age, but like I never really thought about like getting a like a proper job. Do you know what I mean?
Like applying properly.
I mean, I've never had a job
out a form and
I've never had a job interview.
That's
mad.
That's pretty cool.
It's weird. I mean, I was at a kind of dinner recently, and everyone was talking about job interviews, and I was just like, I've got fuck all to say. I had no experience of that.
Never had a boss.
What? Well, no, not exactly. I had a business partner.
Yeah, I had jobs as well, man. I had I did a lot of building work with mates, sort of over in West London when I was growing up. Just like labouring for the day, like getting 70 quid a day when I was a kid. And then I worked in a fruit and veg shop in West London. And I worked in a couple of stores actually. I worked in Offspring for a little bit.
Yeah.
The old one that was in Covent Garden.
Yeah.
And also worked
With
in...
them mad clear plastic pillars.
Yeah, it was, exactly that one with the low ceilings.
Yeah.
And like super bright lights.
Bit like here.
Yeah.
A bit like
Yeah, kind of, isn't it? And that was, that lasted a few months. Until some woman clicked her fingers at me and was like, come over here. And I was like, I'm not fucking serving you, do you know what I mean? I was like, sent my colleague over. I was like, mate, that bird just clicked her fingers at me. I was like, she can forget it. I couldn't really put up with the boss either, man. Then I guess we kept on pushing, and one thing led to another, and we ended up with a couple of shops. Yeah.
Right. And you similarly always into fashion growing up?
Yeah, completely. Yeah. Always had my own style amongst my friends, and sort of was, always trying to wear something different to like all the people around me. I was always trying to be the first person to have that, and be a little bit unique with my outfit.
Where do you think that came from?
I grew up watching my mum and dad running a children's clothing shop in southwest London, and my mum used to make children's clothes. So on like a Saturday afternoon, I'd go and sit around in the shop and watch her sort of make stuff.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So probably from that.
Still going?
Not now, no. She used to sell stuff to other brands, to other shops like Liberties and Selfridges and Harrods and stuff like that. But
we had kind of similar, upbringings in that respect. My parents also in textiles and had fabric shops and always into clothes.
Interesting.
So I can definitely relate to that. Growing up, seeing that. My old man wore things like Stussy and Avisu when I was a kid, and and there was always like interesting materials around. They had fabric shops in Soho, and so did my grandpa. So for me, it was like a long line of
generational,
tailors
and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, my grandfather was a tailor as well. Yeah, so it's generational. Yeah, it's kind of been in the family forever. Mad,
so you're destined to be in...
I never knew. Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew that. Yeah.
My mum's dad was a tailor. Yeah, he died young, man. He died in like his 40s, but he was a tailor. Yeah.
Savile Row?
No, I don't know where he's based. They did live just off the Portobello Road for a few years, but I think he was originally from Sussex.
Right.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I don't know. I never met him. As I say, he died in his 40s.
Yeah, that's young, man. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
So you grew up in what part of town are you from?
West London.
West.
Yeah. Born in Hammersmith and lived nearby there.
Yeah.
North London.
North.
Yeah. Camden and then Crouch End.
Yeah.
So all around North. Yeah. My whole life.
Different ends of the city.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, obviously West is a lot different to North.
Yeah. I mean, it's I did spend a bit of time in West growing up, and more so. I think when you grow up in North, you go to like South a bit less maybe. Like West and East is felt a bit more accessible. But yeah, man, I was always North London based. My family still are.
Yeah, to go to East London for me was like fucking mission when I was younger. Getting over there. There was always things going on over there. Like warehouse parties in Hackney Wick and all of that stuff. We get the train from like literally one end of the line to the other, just to go to a party, and then somehow get home at like 7 a.m. So being in North, you probably had all of that stuff a bit closer. There were less like warehouse parties in West London.
Yeah, my sister's way out west. That's a mad trek.
There were great house parties, but not many warehouse parties.
Yeah,
there were things in South growing up. I remember like places like Lewisham and shit, where it was just like a myth, getting there from like Hornsey to Lewisham.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you get, being out and, in town, would you get a lot of inspiration from seeing, the wide array of fashion you get in town? Has it always been a source of...
Soho's an inspiring little pocket of London.
Yeah.
And I, as I said, my parents had a shop, the fabric shop there, so I would go there as a kid and it's just like mental. It still is a bit mad these days, but 20 years ago it was kind of lawless, Yeah. I even remember things like the old Stussy shop on Earlham Street in Covent Garden, where you used to put your hand on the door. I remember that as a kid. Like, that's ingrained in me, going in there and just being like, when I was 13 years old or something, you're like, this is fucking cool. Whatever's going on here, you know, I want to know more about it. You know?
Yeah.
So it definitely is inspiring, and still has that aspect of West End, I think, for probably, you know, kids today when they come into town from wherever they're from, and they're like, this is mental, you know, the energy, the
Yeah,
vibe.
it's.
like,
I mean, yeah, it's corny, but it's the same but different, isn't it?
yeah.
You see it in Soho. Obviously, we run a shop in Soho, so you see kids coming in like, you know, blown away for the first. They're seeing stuff for the first time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're like 13, 14. They've come from.
They've only ever seen his stuff on TV or on
like,
famous.
they're like,
Well,
They're asking questions. Some of them are just like, you know, the looks on some of their faces is just like, you know, priceless to see. You know, it's cool.
That is cool. So, you mentioned Stussy. What were your, you know, early days going into town? What was the route
I remember
of
going
the stores back then?
like Covent Garden, like Slam City Skates and Stussy, and like even spots like 555 Soul. Do you remember?
Yeah.
That? Like things like, and then Hideout.
Can you remember that? Is that you can remember that store inside Neil's arcade?
Yeah.
That had all them kind of 555 Soul and then
like
brands
Mambo
like
and
yeah,
shit
it's
like
mad,
that.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was a sick store.
That was cool as a kid. I
Yeah.
remember that.
What shop was that?
I can't remember what it was called, but it was.
It was I know
What you
the
mean? It
store
sold
you mean.
555 sold.
Yeah, it had a
right.
load
It
of
wasn't
brands in, but
555 sold,
no,
sold.
They
but it
sold
was,
like other skate brands.
Yeah,
as
other
well,
skate
like
brands
Roll
and stuff.
Industries
Yeah.
and stuff like that. I
There
remember
was a Slam City in Neil's Yard.
Slam City was there.
Yeah, that
as
was
well.
just outside it, down one of the little alleys, wasn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah,
That
big
was right.
big step to get into it.
Yeah, that was just round the corner. But that was the little. My earliest memories of being like, you know, my.
Where
birthday.
can you remember the old Paul Frank store?
No.
God, Paul
That was
Frank,
upstairs. Yeah.
Paul Frank's actually sick.
When was that?
I was mad for that.
What year was that?
That's got to be
So
early 2000s.
early
Early
2000s.
2000s.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like 01, 02 kind of times.
Yeah.
No. I must have missed that.
Shout out Paul Frank.
Part of Paul Frank, bro. Yeah,
I haven't
seriously,
had-
we sell a bit of that in the store.
You do?
Yeah, the leather bags. And
Yeah.
like, some of that shit's cool, man.
Yeah, I've got some. I used to go crazy for a beanie.
Pick up Paul Frank, bro. Where's that these days?
I don't know.
Is that a British brand?
No, it's not. But
Is it
it's,
Dutch?
it's like the monkey.
Yeah, no, I know the
Yeah.
brand, but I'm
I
just
no,
wondering-
I think it's
don't really
American.
know-
I think it's
Oh,
American.
I
is
think
it?
it's American. Yeah.
Because we find a lot of it in Holland when we're buying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see quite a lot of it
I
when
see
I'm.
it pops up in
Yeah.
weird places.
It
Does
does,
it?
yeah. I guess it was huge, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very of that time, innit?
It was
Yeah.
very collectible and it was
It's quite a niche.
yeah.
You know, probably a lot of people won't know what it is, but
Yeah.
yeah, it was
I think
Reese
everybody's
wouldn't be
ready.
seen dead in
No,
Paul Frank.
there
Man.
was
You know the logo,
yeah,
right?
I've,
of course.
I've got. They did the little plush toys made out of the socks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Come on, man. I've been there.
Yeah.
Come on, look at this guy, man.
Julius.
Look at this
Julius was the name of the monkey.
guy. Yeah.
Oh, is
yeah.
it?
Yeah.
They're famous for the little handbags. As
Yeah.
well. I always remember girls having them.
Yeah, we've sold the odd bit in the store, like in recent years, Paul Frank,
Nice.
because I guess it's almost, well, it captures the time, certainly, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I never thought I'd find someone on this pod that would remember that place.
Shout out Paul Frank, bro,
Yeah.
yeah. What other shops around there? Your Hideout was obviously legendary.
Yeah.
You know, that was...
The old Babe store was good. Next
Yeah.
to Hideout.
Yeah.
Yeah, that little bit there was cool.
Dark and Cold.
Upper James Street.
You know Dark and Cold, the record
Yeah.
shop.
Yeah,
that
Dark
sold
and
all
Cold.
the hip hop
Yeah.
gear.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah.
You get like a mixtape and an academics hoodie or whatever. Fucking
Yeah.
that sort of like
Oh, yeah.
road shit.
And then
Um,
there was,
slamming kicks.
yeah.
Yeah, I to be honest, I'm a bit too young for slamming kicks, man. I didn't really catch it. I heard a lot about it from my
Yeah.
older brother, but I never went there. I never ever
What was
went.
the one in West?
Supra on Portobello Road.
Supra.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, how long? I
Yeah.
feel like that was maybe a little bit later, but that's got to be early 2000s.
Oh, that was iconic in West London for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Supra.
that was cool.
The Maharishi store. Did you used to?
The old one.
yeah,
Yeah.
the old one. Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't actually. I remember my dad copping a few bits and then
Yeah.
going there with him, but I wasn't really into it then. I was super young, but I
Covent
remember
Garden, right?
No, it was the street before Upper James Street.
just round the corner
yeah.
from where it is now.
Did they have
Yeah.
something in Covent
was-
Garden, like a MHI thing or something?
Yeah, possibly.
I swear when I was
Yeah.
a kid, I remember something Maharishi in Covent Garden. Maybe I'm wrong. It's a
But
blur,
the store was
isn't it?
mad. It's like a half store, half museum, half
Mm.
exhibition.
right.
Like it was a really cool space.
I remember being really young and like too young to be into clothes, but going to Duffer in Soho, which used to
Duffer
be
St
on-
George.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Obviously the Duffer hoodies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Legendary.
That's It was a Dan Doyle or Craig Ford that brought in Babe while he's wearing a duffer.
Yeah.
They and that I think that time there was something cool going on with that. Bond
International.
We had some sick Bond T-shirts recently.
Yeah, nice.
I don't remember going to Bond, but I know of. What was that on Carnaby Street?
It was just off corner. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just up the way on the corner. Yeah.
Who were we talking to? Who worked there? Someone who worked there.
A few people used to work there. I think Seth Bradley used to work there.
Yeah, Seth. Yeah.
That's it.
And did Rage work there? MC Rage.
Yeah.
You know Rage. Jungle MC.
Right. Yeah.
That's it. He said he used to.
And
work
maybe
there.
Kish worked there as well. Kish Cash.
Probably.
Did he work there?
He would definitely be heavily involved with that,
He
the
would have
crew.
been about.
But he used to work at the record store not far, just up the way in. What was the record store? Was it?
Deal Real? No.
Was it Deal? No, I think it was.
Right.
Yeah, I think it was.
That
Deal
is a
Real.
record store that was around there. It was just a wild guess.
No, I think it was
for
Deal
which
Real.
one it was.
Yeah, but it was one. Yeah, local
He
to
probably
that
works
whole
in
area.
loads of them. He's
I
still
mean, Kish
knocking about.
he's been everywhere.
Anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, other stores
Hold
I
tight,
remember
Kish.
in, like, in proper West London was like Global Sports in Shepherd's Bush.
Yeah,
You know that one that was like American import?
yeah.
That was a big one for me. I learned a lot going
Was it
there.
Sports and Things?
Sports and Things, that was more...
Do you remember my trainer down
Bethnal
Neil's
Green?
Yard? No, down Neil's Yard.
No.
Oh, before it was there, yeah. It was in,
But the one you just mentioned before, Sports and Things, that
Sports
was
Things.
South, right?
yeah,
Yeah, so that was, I never went there.
No, I don't
But I've
remember.
heard lots about that.
yeah.
There was that other one in Shepherd's Bush called London Joggers,
Yeah.
which was good. Used to sell a lot of like climate fit hats, Nike
Yeah.
climate fit hats.
It's a long way when you're that age going like I never went
Yeah,
to.
that's
Yeah.
what they were like my local ones.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
yeah.
I'd go to those ones, and then I can't think now. I guess and then it sort of went into the trap star thing, and there was all these like events where I would go to on a Saturday and like and try and meet the guys who were doing trap star and other people that were doing things like Grind London and you remember these brands?
Yeah.
I think Grind London's still going.
Yeah.
But there were a number of other brands that were going on at that time, that started at that time, like Ben Jar and all of that shit.
Yeah.
When they were all a little bit more sort of creative and less famous, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were smaller. They were just starting to build their name.
Yeah, it was mad time back then.
Mad time,
Yeah, like there was a brand event or store event every week, like non-stop, something. Yeah.
Glory days.
All important,
Yeah,
man. All important.
When you're that
Yeah.
age, it certainly like makes an impression on you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Being at one of them things, yeah.
Right. Your influences growing up, you've touched on. So notably your parents and your background in textiles. You think. What about cultural influences growing up? You know,
What do you mean, like places we?
TV,
Yeah.
film.
I mean, that plays
Yeah.
a big part in what we do.
Yeah.
Like, you know, at Dukes, you come in there and there's movie posters on the wall and, like, you know, a lot of the music we listen to. And, I remember watching films like Kids, Larry Clark or Paid in Full, or, you know, these kind of films with the cars and the clothes and the language and, like, listening to music as a kid, like, whatever it was, man, like Wu-Tang, Eminem, Nirvana, like all of it, you know, you're hearing things and learning things and you're like a sponge, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're taking this shit in and you're like, fucking hell, well, this is cool. So I was like interested in that kind of stuff as soon as I can remember, really,
Yeah.
you know? Yeah.
I think for me it was more sort of just being out and about causing trouble, to be honest, when I was
Yeah.
a kid. Just like the older graffiti writers that would have like mental Stone Island jackets that they'd like stolen earlier that day, and like the trainers that they're wearing and how they laced them, and all the brands you'd see on the street, you know, like just you get on the bus when you're a kid in London, and like when I was going to school or coming back from school, and you know, I don't know how old you are in like year 8, year 9, like 14, 15, and you're seeing kids who are more like 18, 19 who have got a little bit of money,
Yeah.
and they're wearing like the Avrex jackets, academics, shot jackets, fitted hats, Max. It was just, I think the schools I went to were just like mental for style. The way like girls were doing their hair and you know, just mad style just from out and about. But also the films and music, going to raves a bit later on.
But definitely, you're right, being on this out, you know, and like even, I remember like Ali Pali Skate Park, which is, you know, near mine, and just going there and like spending a Saturday there and just seeing older kids skating, wearing like whatever it was at the time, an old shorties hoodie or like, you know, and and that you're just seeing everything, aren't you? And you're like, you know, what's that? I want that, you know, and kind of just like picking bits up here and there.
Yeah. But not having the money to buy any of it.
Yeah.
And then going and buying fake stuff from the markets. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like Wembley Market and
Yeah.
I remember going there and buying like Air Max, like 110s, 95s for like 20 quid, and then going to school, and then, you know, like I remember a girl going like, how can you afford them? Like, and I was like, I can get you some. That's actually where it started for me, selling trainers at school.
Yeah.
Like fake trainers. Like I can't say I did loads of it, but I did supply a couple of people with fake
They'll be watching this now thinking, fuck's sake, man.
No, I remember the girls that
I let
would
myself
ask
get
me.
rizzed up for a fake pair of 95s.
I mean, I don't even know if these people fucking have access to the internet anymore. But yeah, shout out everyone I went to school with. School was mental, man. I remember kids who'd come from all different areas to my school. And I went to school in Richmond, and kids would come from far and wide, man, to the school. From like deep West London. People come, you know, so different styles would come in, you know. It was crazy.
Would that be your shoe growing up?
What, 95s?
Yeah.
It was definitely like one that Air Max that like was prominently worn around. So, you know, I would never forget that. But 97s were huge. And then I guess when I was buying like real trainers, when I was able to go to like JD and stuff like that, when I could spend, you know, 100 quid on shoes, that was more like Hirachis.
Yeah.
So like the strap Hirachis.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was probably like 06, probably that kind of time. Yeah. But before that, when I was in school, I had no money, do you know what I mean? My mum would maybe give me 40 quid to go to the market. I'd buy 2 pairs of trainers.
Yeah.
I'd sell one of them for 50 quid at school, and then,
Be a tenner up with a pair of crepes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or even, tenner up, but
Yeah.
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 I can't do the maths, but
I think you did maths good enough, bro.
yeah. Do maths now.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Sorry, you joined forces at the market. How long, and you know, how does that journey then become to the whose idea? Oh, you know, let's have a store. Let's do this. Let's do Duke's Cupboard.
We did the market for 5 or 6 years on Berwick Street. We did, but for a while we did Portobello and Berwick Street.
Yeah.
And then we did Berwick Street for 5 or 6 years. We both had other little part-time things.
Yeah.
You know.
So would you share stock? Would you?
You know what? Weirdly, initially, we started and it was like, this is mine and this is yours.
Yeah.
So it was peak because some days, like, one of us would sell loads, the other one would sell fuck all.
Yeah.
You know, so then we quickly realised it's better that we just put whatever little money we have together and just get.
I remember one of us said, it was probably the one that had the shit a day. It was like, so, you know, it might have been me that had a shit a day and he took a couple £100. And I was like, I think from next week we need to just like combine the stock. If we're going to take this to the next step, we need to just combine the stock.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I think from there it was just both efforts just went into the same pot. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's how it works.
That wasn't like, maybe 6 months in that changed. It wasn't long.
Yeah.
And then we did that 5 or 6 years, and then we did a pop up in 2016 or 17 with Round 2.
Yeah.
In London, and then opened our first shop off the back of that, which isn't the shop we're in now. It's round the corner.
Yeah.
The old shop was in Greens Court, and that was just we did that. It was successful, and then we got an opportunity to take that shop for 3 months, and then ended up like spending like almost 2 years there, and that was kind of how it, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we always wanted a shop though. Like
Yeah,
we
for
you
sure.
know, standing on a market stall for years and years. I mean, I say that now, 5 years isn't actually that long, because some geezers have been there for 30 years. You know?
Yeah.
That's a hard graft, you know, doing that in the winter in London.
But some of them clean up on the market and they don't ever want to move to, to having those bills, those outgoings that come with having a shop, you know?
Yeah.
Because obviously it costs us fuck all to be on the street, right? Like 50
Yeah.
quid a day or whatever. If that on Berwick Street, right?
Man, yeah, it
Down
was-
Portobello was maybe like 50,
That's
60
what,
quid.
Berwick Street was cheap then.
Yeah.
We actually did it the other day, Berwick Street Market, just for a
Yeah,
one-off.
but was it like 2-3 weeks ago?
Yeah, about 3
Yeah.
weeks ago. We
What was
just pulled
the
up.
the response on the story from bits that had been picked up was really good. Do you think that was
Yeah.
like kind of refreshing?
Yeah,
do
it was.
that?
I think people. We just had. It's just a hot day. We had a Saturday free. Our mates have got a stall there. They said you can have the pitch for the day. It was just like a laugh, but it was sweet because a bunch of people came down and said cool, and some of them are people who used to come down back in the day as well.
That's nice.
Yeah, it was nice,
Yeah.
man. It was just like nice to do that, and actually, when the sun's out and you're on Berwick Street Market, it's the best job in the world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's fucking fun, and you're just like, But then, you know,
It's
when
like riding a ped, isn't it? It's like riding a moped. It's like, you know, in the summer it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Fucking winter, it's like, fuck, why have I got this?
Yeah.
It's the exact same thing.
It is, yeah.
We used to sit in William Hill, which is now gone, that was on Berwick Street, out looking out the window, waiting for people to walk into the store.
Waiting
it was so cold.
Waiting for our stall to blow away. Just looking at it, just thinking, and then weight's gonna hold it like.
And we'd take turns, didn't it? Be like, bruv, go get the stall. Like, fucking, it's gonna blow, you know?
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
you know, November, December, January, February, fucking freezing out there.
And then if no one rocks up and you've done 8-9 hours standing in the cold,
Mate,
you're feeling it.
Arguing over a £10 note. in the snow. It's like you can question some things in that time, you know.
Yeah.
Like I suppose the process from like initially doing it individually to like combine forces fully, and then that progressing on Berwick Street to the store, the initial store after the pop up, and then the store you've got now. I suppose you've probably learnt a lot about yourselves in that time, because much like people who like work a freelance job, I don't have like a guaranteed paycheck.
Yeah.
There's a lot of hustle that goes into it, and the hustle's kind of like, it's like all encompassing, because it's like, well, firstly I've got to source the product. I've got to have a bit of belief in back the product I'm buying, that I can like turn a profit on it.
Yeah.
And like to do that for so long, I presume I don't presume, I know you know what's up when you're like buying stock.
Yeah.
So I suppose is that like changed and influenced as you've like progressed?
What you mean learning, like, I mean, we learned a lot in those years on the market stall about what to do, what not to do. I think that's like, and you know, I'm only really able to really understand the value of that sat here now in hindsight.
Yeah.
You know, of how much we learnt in those 5 or 6 years doing that. But then, yes, you do learn what to buy, and you do make mistakes. We still do, you know, in what you're buying, and like it changes. Kind of what's selling now, you know, what isn't the same as what it was 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Is that what you mean?
Sorry, I was like I was really with it when I was like, and I was like, like the person in my head that was with it just walked off.
Yeah,
he walked off, and I was like, fuck. I was like, that was fucking good, but it's walked off. And so like,
I think now that like our sort of connections and our experience and our network has broadened so much that we can get better stock now as well. So like in the shop, you know, people walk in with stuff now, and where we've been doing this for 10 plus years, you know, people know that we buy and sell, and we're like a place to go to now to sell stuff.
Yeah.
And also our knowledge of like where to find stuff ourselves is broadened as well, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I've been going around some guy's house for like the last few months buying like, spending $1,000 at a time on like Bape. Do you know what I mean? And it's just like a collection of Bape, from the last like 20 years.
Some mad stuff.
Yeah.
You meet these people.
Unfortunately, Reece, I let 95% of mine go way too early.
I've been going around, you know, like 3 or 4 times now. And, you know, that wouldn't have happened after the first week, innit?
You had a mad collection, yeah. Some people hold on to them. Most people don't, you know? Like
I've held on to the pieces that were like I cherish highly.
Yeah.
Like I've got one item that may give me a payday at some point.
Yeah.
Maybe very soon at the end of this conversation.
What's the item?
You've got to sell it at the right time.
It's the Kanye jacket. It's the one that's on the one the bear was wearing on the
mad.
the cutting bear.
I'll give you 80 quid for it.
It's like a grey marl.
The Bape one.
Yeah, Bape one. Bape head on the front and then a bathing ape.
Yeah.
Applique on the back. Yeah, chenille.
Yeah, I mean, think of that off the top of my head.
Yeah, you'll know.
Can we get a picture up on the screen?
I'll get it. I'll get you a picture.
Like in the edit.
All I'm seeing is dollar signs over here. You boys like, if I can get that off and for that, I'd be at that. Because I do the same, man. I do this. Friends want to sell a Supreme jacket. I'm like, well, you paid 800 quid for it when it was hot. It ain't hot no more. Yeah, I'll give you that, and I know I can shift it for a couple of profit or whatnot.
Mate, I had one of those North Face Supreme Nupsies, the green leopard print one. Yeah,
big jacket.
I bought that. Jacket. I remember ringing the store. Yeah, I spoke to one of the boys in the store, and I was like, "You got any of those left?" On like the day after it dropped, and he's like, "Yeah, we've got 2 larges left." I was like, "All right, do you reckon they'll sell?" He's like, "I don't know, mate. Just get down it." Anyway, I went and bought it at ease, without queuing up any of that crap. Like the day after the release, I had it for a couple of months, and then my mate was just like, "Oh, do you want to sell that jacket?" I think I sold it to him for 100 quid more than I paid for it, and that retailed at 240 quid rather than the price now, which is 350
Yeah.
for a nupsy.
Yeah.
I remember it. It was like 239 or something like that, which was, you know, significantly cheaper than it is now, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think I sold it for 100 quid more. I went and bought like a Y3 puffer, and then like literally a year later, I was like, fucking hell, man! If I still had that, it's just like one of those things.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
painful.
Yeah,
You never
it's
know
fucked.
though, innit? And it's like things come and go like that, you know.
It's all about selling at the right time.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's like
yeah.
all the low life guys from New York thinking they're gonna keep all their collection, buy a mansion,
And
with
retire.
it. But it's like a lot of them held on to it too long.
Yeah.
They didn't sell at the right
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, which you're not
Right.
always to know. But that dude with the vape, is when that happens to us, it's nice when you meet someone like an individual who's got an old collection, and quite often they're quite weird about letting go of it because it means whatever it means to them. It means something
Yeah.
to them, you know.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, that we've met people over the years who have had like an old Stussy collection or a vape collection or whatever, and they're like bit by bit they become ready to let go of it.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like that's why these relationships are important, you know.
That's what I was going to say. It's about building the relationship over
Yeah.
the years. Like on the
Yeah.
market, so there's like these kids, like, well, they don't want us to come around their house with a couple $100. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you have to get to that point, you know.
And that vape stuff is like some of the best vape I've ever seen, you know, that him and I think a family member of his collected over the years. And it's like, you know, that's like, you don't really find that stuff in the wild. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? You don't really. It's in someone's wardrobe somewhere or in their
Yeah.
lockup, you know. Occasionally you do.
Not to
but-
that abundance. Do you know what
Yeah,
I mean?
not
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that. Yeah. You might
This
find
is
that
like
odd thing.
suitcase
Wow.
after suitcase full of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was some big collectors back then.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's all stuff from the old shop,
Yeah.
the one next to Hideout,
Yeah.
like London opening shit. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've got good friends from up Leeds, like Neil and Mark Bedford. They were in the queue every
Heard
week.
those names.
Yeah, Neil's a photographer. Mark used to have the Chimp store
Right. Okay.
up in Leeds. They used to work at Hip once upon a time
Right,
in the
okay.
lanes. And a friend, Jay Warren Jones, big Supreme vape collectors, all of them. Yeah,
Hip
that-
was
from
the
that
store
area.
in Leeds that sold Supreme, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Hip store.
yeah,
Still there.
yeah. It's not. Yeah,
It's not the
it's
same,
different.
but it's
yeah.
still. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sold now, isn't it? To
Yeah.
size, right?
Okay.
JD.
Yeah, JD Group. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you touched on buying. Do you both still do all the buying?
Yeah.
And do you have similar buying styles, or are you different, or do you is it complementary to each other?
We do have different tastes, and
Yeah.
we both we have, you know, we kind of, yeah, we buy to our Dukes is essentially a mixture of like our tastes and what we think is good right now and looks good
Yeah.
in the store, which might not be our taste, but we know a lot of people do like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and we do have different tastes, but then, you know, Ned and I went to the same place and split up for 3 hours and came back. You probably looked pretty similar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Probably, you know.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, kind of. There's certain things that certain things that I knew about growing up that maybe Milo didn't care about when he was younger, and same for him, you know.
Yeah.
So then, and it's sort of like, I don't know. You never know what you're gonna see when you're out buying. If you're on eBay, you have to type stuff in, right? Like,
Yeah.
I'm looking for a Stone Island jacket. But when you're in a car boot sale or a flea market in the other side of the world, you don't know what's about to fucking appear before your eyes. Do you know what I mean? So it's like,
Yeah.
you don't know what's gonna, you know, be
Yeah.
there, and then you're like, fucking hell, I remember that, and then you have to make a decision like, am I gonna, you know, try and put that in my shop?
Mm.
And do you know what I mean? It's like you're constantly making decisions when you're buying, and
Yeah.
you have to decide on the spot. So, yeah,
Yeah. And often you're tired and it's in the middle of nowhere and you're like,
yeah,
it's like raining
And what is what is your preferred preferred way to buy?
I mean, personally, I love going to a flea market in the other side. I mean, that's like a beautiful day out for
Yeah.
me, you know. But like, there are certain like warehouses or places we go where like that might be an easier way, you know, like more like valuable for your the time you spend and the effort you leave with better stuff. But it's more exciting going to somewhere like a flea market, and it's more of an inspiring experience for sure.
Yeah.
Because like you're hunting and you don't, as Ned said, you don't know, and it's like you see some weird stuff in weird corners of the world that you just like, you know, and some of that's the best. Even the things in our stores that aren't for sale,
Yeah.
you know, like those bits, it's just like they're all handpicked from all over the place, and it's kind of like that's the stuff that, like Ned said, you don't really know you're looking for it, but then you see it and you're like, that's what I'm looking for, you know, which is quite fun. That
Yeah.
bit's still just as fun.
Yeah,
you
the
know?
organic pursuit is just
And
Yeah,
also
man.
you're paying a fraction of the price if you're
Yeah.
buying it from a flea market
helps.
compared to like eBay or someone that walks in
Yeah.
the store,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah,
Which definitely always helps.
yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, the access of information is probably hurts you more than most.
So again, sorry?
The access to information for people, they're always armed with the latest market price and what things are worth and how much they're going for. And all this
Exactly.
stuff.
Yeah.
Makes life difficult, doesn't it?
Can do. I mean, sometimes people just don't care and they just want it gone.
Yeah,
Often at these places, and then when you're, you go to like Rose Bowl in LA and you're like, it's like more expensive than curated vintage shops. It's
Yeah.
just like you kind of think, well, it doesn't really add up from considering where we are, but that's what it comes down to. People do know what it's worth, and you kind of got to think, fair enough. You know what I mean? It's yours.
Yeah.
What do you think? I've got a few questions.
Yeah.
Like best Rose Bowl find firstly, like for each of you, in best Rose Bowl find for like a flip perspective, like greatest like profit margin
From Rose Bowl specifically.
from Rose Bowl specifically.
Fucking hell, man.
Do you know what?
I haven't been there for a while.
We were there. I know.
I haven't been to
I
Rose
was
Bowl
there
for
this
a
year.
while, man. I've been there like 5 times.
Okay.
I can't think really.
I can think of a few things that spring to mind. I can think of one thing that I didn't buy that I wish I did, which
Okay.
isn't actually the question you asked.
Yeah,
but I'm going
but
to say
yeah,
it anyway.
we can go off grid. It's
Yeah.
fine. It's fine.
I remember years ago I saw this vintage Slick Rick T-shirt there.
Okay.
It just said on it "Free Slick Rick," and it was a black T-shirt, and it just said "Free Slick Rick" on it. And I'm a fan of Slick Rick, and it was just like the coolest T-shirt. I think he wanted $200 for it or something, which is actually all right, man. Really, it's
Yeah.
like because I've never seen it again. I don't know how. I don't know if it's a super rare Slick Rick tee or not. Maybe it isn't, but I often think about that. Probably because I didn't buy it.
Yes.
And then I don't know, man. There's things we've bought.
There was a T-shirt I got. It was Boys in the Hood.
Boys in the Hood,
the
okay.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was an original from the time that Boys in the Hood just written.
yeah,
I think I paid like $100 for it. At the end of the day, I think probably sold that for like 400 quid.
Okay,
something
wow.
like that. So that's quite a good markup.
Good return.
Because it's not a sort of T-shirt that exists in the UK. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
yeah,
It's an American movie. It's like we found it. I think you were there as well.
I remember where we found it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that film shot in LA, right? So it was like sick to find that in LA.
Yeah.
And South Central. Do you know what I mean? It's like
That T-shirt we actually bought back from the person we sold it to years later.
Later
as well,
on,
and
really?
they sold it again, which
I
happens.
think it was about 400 quid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you do find mad bits out there, and sometimes it's better to pay up because the value is just to have it in the store.
Yes.
It elevates the rest of the stuff, and then sometimes you're like, in the bottom of a pile, you pull something and you're like, oh god, it's like €1, and you're like, this is worth like 350 quid.
Yeah.
Well, I've had a touch there.
Well, we didn't have the choice like that when we were on the market. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was just like we had no money, so we had to buy shit for a quid.
Yeah.
We didn't even travel that much when we were on the market. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? So we didn't have the sort of options.
But with like greater like financial freedom comes like the ability of choice.
Yeah, but then you could
Yeah.
go and buy $100
Yeah.
T-shirt and sell it for that. When if you've only got like a tenner to spend on each item,
Yeah.
then it's like you can't really buy that quality.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because it's 2024. Like you've got the internet. Most people know what they've got.
Yeah, I mean, I went to LA in 2015 when we were doing the market stall.
Yeah.
Not to buy vintage. I went there to do. I got into like a film school that I actually hated and didn't go to. That's a whole other thing. But in that trip, I remember like I was there for a couple months. Living at my mates, and that was when I, met with some people and discovered Rose Bowl, and we started. Kind of for me personally, opened my eyes to some of this stuff, and then we were always kind of going since then. But back then you could get good deals there.
Yeah.
You still can in some places, probably not Rose Bowl so much. I mean, I would always recommend you go there. It's a wicked day out, but it's not always the most like
Profitable.
Yeah, exactly.
You can find great shit there, but you have to spend like decent money.
yeah.
Like if you were going to a like car boot like in London, how much cash would you take with you? Because I'm in the rabbit hole. I'm not trying to set you up to get like to get lined up here.
No.
Like,
well, it's funny because it's like one of us might withdraw X amount
Right.
and try and set a limit, but
I've
then
got
you
you.
might be like, right, you know, I've spent that,
Yeah.
and now I found all this
A
shit.
gem, you found a
I'm
gem.
gonna have to fucking bank
Yeah.
transfer you or PayPal you.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking about situations because you're just reminding probably both of us
Yeah,
of like
fair
situations,
times.
scenarios. And you also have like, you know, older people who are like, no, I don't want you to bank transfer me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
so many difficult people in boot sales. It's like
Yeah.
complete nut jobs selling like fucking great
Yeah.
stuff. Do you know what I mean? And it's
No,
like
it is like a
weird and wonderful
all
people,
the like
isn't it?
misfits from the world in one car
Yeah.
park. It's mental, but it's like great.
So then you have to
it's
go and
like-
withdraw
Yeah.
cash for
Yeah.
those people,
Yeah.
right? So then you've withdrawn more. But
But yeah, it depends. I mean, London's probably a bit more expensive than other parts of the UK.
Yeah.
Yeah,
for
for
a
sure.
boot sale, you know, and there are other flea markets in Europe which you can, you know, turn up with a couple €100 and have.
Do you go up and down the country for boot sales?
To be honest, I don't go to too many outside of London. I go to flea markets around the world, but outside of London, not really, unless I'm already doing something there. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? If I'm already visiting a place and there's a flea market on, I'll probably go. But I don't really do that too much. No, I mean, we've got good ones in the city. You know, there's a couple good ones on most weeks
Yeah.
that we like to hit up, yeah.
yeah, I'd say the best ones are in London, but you have to pay a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if you go to somewhere like, I remember going to one in Leeds, and I was just like, I walked around this field for about an hour, and I just didn't find anything. Do you know what I mean? If I did find something good, it probably would have been fuck all.
Yeah.
I just didn't find one good thing. I was like, I don't know.
Mm.
Someone from Leeds would be listening, thinking, you've got no idea. Mate. I go to this fucking boot sale
Yeah.
every
I
day,
clean up
but-
every week, man.
Sorry, man, I haven't got time to drive fucking 4 hours up there. Yeah, so yeah, we just sort of, I stick to London boot sales
Yeah.
anyway, and we do a lot of buying. It's got easier to fill our shop nowadays. It's become easier as the years go by.
And you've got people bringing stuff to
We've
you
got
as
people
well. Yeah.
coming in, and then we've also got people that walk in and say, I've got a warehouse, mate, you can come and hand pick. And it's like 5 years ago, people were like, you can't come and hand pick in our shop.
Yeah.
But now they probably know we're going to hand pick and buy a lot. They're like, fuck it, you can come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as I say, we build our name more. We're getting a little bit more respect from other dealers, and therefore we're welcome to come and, you know, dig through their stuff.
Has there been any like previous encounters where you've handpicked and the person who like you're doing it with doesn't realise what they've got, and you've got a bit of a you got that for like a song?
Yeah, no, we've had instances where we're buying and
Yeah.
like I'm telling him or he's telling me to just like hold it down. Do you know what I mean? Don't
Yeah,
get
yeah,
excited
yeah,
in front of whoever, because you've seen something and they're like, oh, this everything in this pile's 10 and everything here's 20, and you're just thinking everything in that pile's 10. You know, there's a couple mad bits in there,
Yeah.
and like I'm just like, yo, chill. You know,
Yeah,
you've got to
yeah,
just
yeah.
get that
Yeah.
without letting
It's
on.
true.
That does happen.
Yeah.
That
You have
does
to
happen.
learn. You learn that though over time. You
Yeah,
just-
not to get
right,
excited.
Have you been caught by that before? Like you've
I've had
gassed
people
yourself
change
up
the
and they've
price.
seen you, gas.
Yeah.
Yeah, it must have happened for
People
sure.
change the price
Yeah.
in front of me. I've seen it. I've had it at Portobello Market where I've gone to buy something, and then someone said, I've heard them say something like what's
Yeah, yeah,
price
yeah.
to someone, and then I've asked and it's a different price. I'm just like, I
The
don't
worst
understand.
question to be asked, which, sorry, I'm just going to make up a question and answer it. The worst question to be asked when you're buying something is, what are you going to sell it for?
Yeah.
It's just like, why
It's
do you
not-
give a fuck?
It's not your business, really.
No,
Yeah.
it's like,
It's not
are you
your
making something?
I
Do you know
I
what I
do
mean?
this all the time. Like
Yeah.
people like just being around trainers. Like anyone
Yeah.
who wants to sell something, say, well, what should I sell them for?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sell them for what you're happy to take for them.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Thank
Like
you,
whatever
thank
you
you,
want to
yeah.
get out of it, that's what you sell them for.
Yeah,
I
that-
know, it's
Don't
just like,
don't
we
go on
don't have
eBay
time
and
for
see
this,
someone
mate.
selling them for $1,000 and think they're worth $1,000. They're worth whatever they're worth to
The
you.
classic
exactly.
thing, have you looked at the sold items?
Yeah,
No,
I
don't
say
even
that
know what
all the
is.
time.
Yeah.
Just check completed
It's
listings for a
listed
minute.
for a
Yeah.
grand, like you say. It's like, well, it's
Yeah.
worth a tenner.
Yeah, I can list anything for $10,000. It's not gonna. Doesn't mean it's gonna sell, does it?
Yeah, anyway, it's a well annoying question. Though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
we
get it. I
we
get
get
it.
asked that
So,
quite a lot.
viewers, listeners, take note. It's annoying.
Don't
What am I
go.
going to sell
No,
it for?
don't
Well,
go-
when you sell it to me, you're going to find out.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Don't
like,
go in the shop and be asking that.
It's
Yeah.
like, I don't have another job. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We do this full time.
No, but
you
it's
get-
like someone buys something from the store, it's theirs now.
Yeah.
If they think they can go and sell it for 5 times what they cost,
Cool.
fair play, best of luck. Do you know what I mean? It's
People
like,
do
it's
that
not
in
mine.
our shop.
Yeah, it's not
People are
mine.
like, oh, I'm taking this back to New York. I'll sell it for double.
It's
Like,
like,
cool, go
cool.
ahead. Like
Yeah.
we're making our drink. You,
Yeah.
know, you go and make yours.
Yeah.
Like, fucking fair play.
Yeah, no, that question is jarring, man.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. It is well enough.
Rant over.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had to get that off. My
I
chest.
feel.
No, I feel, yeah.
I feel like it's funny you say that because I feel like for me, who does a little minuscule thing of what you boys do online.
Yeah, yeah,
Like I'm always looking to have an extra £1 note if I can.
Yeah, of course.
So
why
if
not?
I spot something on eBay, I'm like I can turn a profit on that.
Yeah.
And I like to think I'm pretty savvy. I'm like I could someone could put a t-shirt on the table. I'd be like, all right, well, I'll buy for that. I could sell for that.
Yeah,
and I'm
yeah.
if it's something I'm like streetwear, footwear, trainer,
Yeah.
I'm pretty shit hot. And
You are, mate.
thank you.
Product king.
Something comes in from PR that he's never going to wear.
Why are
I
you
know.
doing this?
I know. I
Why
can.
are you doing this? Why are you doing this?
Leave it there.
Luke will have
doing
it.
this, man?
That'll get cut. That will get
big
cut.
guy.
We all get gifted the odd thing and swing it down the road.
You big guy, man. But yeah, that bit's getting cut out.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
But
No, we all know Reese is ruthless.
like, sorry. What I was getting at is like if I'm selling something, selling a pair of trainers to
Excuse me.
someone, I'm selling them for like £300, and I know they've got a shop. I'm like, well, you know what? If you offer us 280, I need that 280. I'm gonna take the 280 if you want to sell them for 450. Fair play. You've took that risk. You've invested X amount. If you think much like you said, if you buy a Ramones t-shirt from your shop, take it to New York and sell for double or like 1.5 times, like fair play, because you're leveraging that risk, and it's like if you've got the confidence to like do that, or you're in the marketplace to do it, fair play.
Yeah. That's how the world goes round, man. Do you know what I mean? Everyone's doing their bit and bob. You've got to pay your bills, do your thing.
Yeah, people just feel like they're getting robbed, don't they? So they're just like,
Yeah.
they want to.
That's what these days I just say. Oh, don't worry about it. Don't sell it. You know, if someone's really being like that, and it's really awkward and difficult. I'm just like, it's cool, man. Keep it. You know, 'cause it's just like.
yeah, if what I'm going to sell it for is going to hurt your feelings,
Well,
like, don't worry about it.
especially in the shop when it's like under our roof. Do you know what I mean? You don't want some kid leaving crying like with like. Do you know what I mean? So I do the same. I'm like, mate, if you're happy to sell it at that, then I'll send you the money now, and sometimes they're like, no, it's cool, I will sell it. And other times they say, I'd rather hold on to it.
Yeah, it's like
just
fair play,
completely fun. I'm not going to, force you to sell it.
And because the next guy walking through the door might have the exact same item and want less.
Literally, there's some people that are amazing and just easy. They're just like, whatever.
But then sometimes you do see things and you're like, no one else is going to have that item. You know what I mean? And you're like,
Yeah, you have to pay
you're
up.
like, I'm going to pay up right now.
Of course.
You know, that does happen. You're like, I know I paid over the odds, but I might never see that again.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
What do you think the best thing that like Saturday morning you're in the shop, someone's walked in, what's the best like item? Not from a profit perspective, just like rare, really rare,
interesting
cool.
ones, right?
Yeah.
Or like made you smile, put a smile on your face.
I've seen so much by this point, man. It's like hard to fucking.
I mean, I do think about that time that guy came in with that Stussy collection.
Which guy? Any hints to remind me? I can't.
Yeah, a friend of ours through him. He came in. I don't really want to talk about names on here, but someone came in with a Stussy collection that was like amazing, man. Like all mid-90s, early 2000s, like bags and bags of Stussy, and just walk through the door, you know.
The guy who had the Haze Dunks. Is it that guy?
Did he have the Haze Dunks? I can't remember if he had them, but I do remember those shoes. Maybe it was, yeah. But you know, he'd all like.
I'm thinking of like 10 different
people.
people.
He'd all like the Louis Vuitton stuff. He was that American dude. He had anyway bags and bags of Stussy, amazing Stussy, like all from the 80s, 90s, early 2000s. Just came in through the door, you know. That's nice when that happens.
And when someone's doing that, are you pricing per t-shirt on the job lot? Are you saying, well, that one's worth like 80? That's worth 80.
We'll try and go through the whole bag and be like,
pretty fair.
Let's get the calculator out
Yeah.
and let's start making the pile. And then we'll say like, give you 20 quid for that t-shirt, 30 quid for that t-shirt, and then totaling it up.
I've got you.
And then maybe trying to ask for a little 50 quid off
Yeah,
the total.
yeah. Of course.
Round it up, round it down maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, bit by bit. We handpick everything.
Yeah.
We always have, which is annoying for some wholesalers, when we turn up and we're like, so a lot of people buy by weight and things like that. We've never done that. We're a small shop, very specialised. We try and be picky and choosy about what we put in there.
Yeah.
That's like our thing.
We can't afford to order a box from like the other side of the world and hope that it's full of good stuff.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of vintage sellers
Yeah.
do, right? Mystery boxes and all this stuff.
Fucking hell, mystery box.
You know what? To make a pound note, fair play. But like, if you care about the stuff you're selling, then you can't do that.
But we know people who sell a lot of clothes, and for them, they could be selling, and you could be selling bread. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like another thing.
Yeah.
It's just like,
Yeah.
this costs X amount, we can sell it for this business, which
Yeah.
I get. But that's for us, it's like, we are passionate about our store. We like it to look how it looks, you know what I mean? It's not just like, put any old thing in there, even if you can make 100 quid on top of it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there anything you guys buy in and you're like, personally, you're like, we're never selling this. Like,
Sorry, that
we're
fly
never.
driving
Yeah,
down the bend.
it started over here.
Can we kill it?
I tried to stamp on it a minute ago.
We're never selling.
Yeah.
Kill it.
You nearly lit me in the face then, bro. Be careful.
We need it out. The light's obviously fucking attracting it.
I'll kill it with a vape.
yeah. Oh, is that the time now? Yeah. Quick break time.
Quick vape break.
Quick little vape break.
Sorry, man. It was just
No,
jarring.
don't worry. They've been all over.
Yeah,
I'm sick of the flies, man.
Oh,
Get out, you prick, man.
Going out, man.
Why can't I find
Doing laps, innit?
Yeah.
You have to hit it, man.
Oh, I'm trying, but I can see it.
Kobe.
Jesus.
Oh.
You're blocking this exit, Luke. Get out of the way,
Yeah, I
man.
know. What do you want me to do? Fucking go outside?
Duck.
Gasnet.
Yeah. Well,
Outtakes.
That's probably why it's fucking buzzing around like it's off its tits.
It's got batty rush.
So true.
I think you got it then.
Nah, I think you smacked it. Where's it gone?
Daze that bitch.
Right, well listen, we'll crack on, man.
Let's
We'll
fucking
try and get...
Fucking
Yeah.
Flygate. Oh, nice one, Reese. Special effects.
This is all going alright though, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good, it's good.
Where
It's good.
do you wanna where do you wanna like reconvene?
Well, what
I've
was I
got
gonna
change
say?
batteries in about 15, 20.
Alright.
Alright.
No, I was just getting on to like, is there like certain things in the shop where you personally think, well, there's no chance there's any market for this, and then next thing you know, it's the hottest thing in the store.
Yeah.
What's something that we've had out?
Just something you find yourself reluctantly buying, or like, oh, I can't believe we're buying this shit. And
Well, that will happen like if Milo buys something that I don't rate, or if I buy something that he don't rate.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I'll be like, what the fuck's this? Like, he might come in with 20 bits and they're all banging, and there's one thing, and I'm like, what is that, bro? Like, do you know what I
What
mean?
is that?
Yeah, but he says it to me as well. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? You know, I'm like, fucking, what are those?
No, but we
um,
have different. That's why our different
Yeah.
tastes are good, and like we both have. And then that might be the first thing that sells.
Yeah,
You
and
know,
then-
I'm like,
yeah.
that's that. He might be like, well, you shouldn't have bought that, and then it sells 10 minutes
Yeah,
later.
yeah. And then I'm like, fair play. You know what I mean?
But then also you can sometimes get things wrong, and something sits there for ages, and you can't even give it away.
Yeah.
Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's like it's just like that, you know.
Literally.
We've got
never
some
know,
things
man.
where you're like looking at it like. You see this thing every day in the shop, you know, it's becoming like an old mate, you know, and you just like,
is there? Yeah.
Becoming an old mate.
it's like, fucking, you know. That's what they say in the antique trade, isn't it?
That's
They
funny,
say like
yeah,
good
yeah.
morning to like.
I've never heard
you know,
that before.
Yeah.
In the antique trade, they have like a table, and they're like,
Yeah.
it's like an old friend. They come in, they say good morning to it.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
You can't sell this
Because
thing,
you
right?
can't.
Yeah.
Part of the furniture.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah,
bro.
yeah.
Fucking.
Have you got those
First,
items that
innit?
you've come and you're like, fucking bruv,
Yeah, no,
look
we've
what
got
I've picked up. This is the box, and it's like still in the shop.
There's and then
Months
there's
and
other
months
things
later.
that are really, you know, sometimes you buy something that's like, you know, at the moment there's a pair of like New Balance in the store that are like really nice, you know, and they're like good size 9, and they've just sat there for like a month. And
Yeah.
It's just like, well, don't you know what I mean? It's just weird sometimes, you know.
Yeah, it is weird.
But you kind of just learn and you know keep as long as there's new stuff coming in and you know maybe,
Or like then like a particular thing selling really well, and then
Yeah.
you're like, oh, I'm just gonna keep buying loads of it, and then it's like,
The train stopped.
and then, and then
The
literally,
market
yeah,
dies
and
on
then-
its arse.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then it's
The
just
train
like, oh,
stops.
well, that last one we bought has not been touched for like a month. And you're just like, what's going on with that brand? Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna say one.
You're right,
But I'm just
yeah,
like,
I
yeah,
hear
I
you.
don't want to like fucking
Attack.
publicly like ruin a brand. I don't know. Man.
Oh,
Anyway.
we do it all the time.
Ah, we do.
Yeah, but I mean, we sell this shit, so I don't really want to. I
Yeah.
don't know, man.
it just changes.
Yeah, it
like,
changes,
constantly, You know,
you
it's
know.
just always changing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fly.
That fly, man.
Keep that in. Keep that in.
I'm getting it, man. I swear.
Wow.
This is crazy.
You hit it, bro.
Yeah. Oh, it stayed in the air.
He's angry now. He's sped up.
It's not a wash. No, slow down, bro.
Circling me. He's gonna
Alright,
kill us.
We need to.
Go on, anyway,
Has
so
anyone got
what-
any raid in their vape?
Bro, listen, it's right behind you. Move your head, Reese. Oh, mate, we just have to ignore it. Watch out.
Fuck. Watch the shirt, man.
I don't give a shit about your shirt. This fly's dying today.
It's not dead.
Did that get it?
No, I didn't. I saw it fly off. I think he must like leave now after that.
He must leave now after that.
Hostile environment.
Right, let's
Right,
get back to it, man.
Alright, cool.
Let's get back to it.
Where we at with it, man?
I don't know what we were at.
Okay, so we're talking about like you buying an item and becoming an old friend in the shop. Do you think like the rise of like Depop and Vinted becoming like popular in like, you don't have to say it, I'll say it, it's full of fake shite, man. Depop and Vinted, I'll go on there, I'll have the like little explore, I'll search, I've got saved searches, I'll probably look at Supreme and Stussy stuff every day. Some for personal, some to potentially flip. And the amount of fakes I see, and I can spot
those brands.
Yeah, of those brands in particular. I could spot a fake Stussy t-shirt from 100 yards away. Same with Supreme. And the like amount of fakes where it's just not even a graphic they've even like used or reissued in the past 10 years. Do you think that's like impacted you in any way? Has anyone ever came in and like picked up a t-shirt that's and been like, well, yours is like X amount, I can get this on Depop or Vinted for like 20 quid?
People do ask like, is stuff real in the shop? Like sometimes, and you just have to explain like how particular we are.
Yeah.
And like how long we've been doing this, and you know,
also,
this
like,
is people that don't know. Like people ask that don't know our shop.
That don't have like an
They just
education
walked
on
in.
it, yeah.
Yeah,
Do you know
and
what I
also
mean?
there's things in there that are like super old. You know,
Yeah.
we've had like this is like 80s Stussy
Yeah.
t-shirt, like or an old Supreme tee from the 90s where the label looks a bit wonky, but it's like from that time, and people are like, you know, we know, you know, as do other people that it's just old.
Yeah.
You know, and then other people a kid might come in and be like, this is fake to their mate, and it's like, you know, it's like whatever. Do you know what I mean? But I do think kids generally, they through things like Depop and Vinted, they are getting some kind of education about this stuff. So a lot of the time they come in and they do kind of surprise me. They know what they're talking about sometimes as well, you know. So which is not a bad thing, you know. And it's like also our price in our store is our price in our store.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like if you want to go home and spend 2 hours on eBay looking for a cheaper one and you find one, fair play, you spent 2 hours on eBay, like go ahead and do that. Do you know what I mean? If you want to come in and have a chat and try something on and make sure it's right and spend a little bit more than it might be there, then you do that. And people like doing that. I think.
They do.
They like the experience of that, which is old school shopping in a store. Do you know what I mean? It's like a dying art to walk into a shop, try something on, have a chat. Like some kids have probably never gone shopping like that. You know what I mean? But we are all about that, you know, obviously.
I think that's what we've built now with Dukes. I think that's like the reason people come to us. It's like they know they could probably look online or they could, you know, whatever, go and find stuff maybe a little bit cheaper or, you know, but they like to come in and see what's going on in there and see our curation, see what we've spent our time picking. Do you know what I mean? I think they appreciate that. And I don't think people have, I think there's a few older customers that just don't have time to go to like, you know, these other vintage stores and dig through all of the shit to find one good thing. They just like, they know, you know, that they can come in, they're going to look through a rail and they'll probably pick out a few bits they want to try on and they might buy a couple of them. Do you know what I mean? And they're happy to pay a little bit more because they save some time.
Yeah, I guess that's it at the time. That's the thing, yeah.
And also, like you said, we can talk to them about stuff. You go into a lot of these vintage shops, just like, have a look on the rail, mate, good luck if you find something. It's like, there's no, do you know what I mean? You can come in, you can ask us about any piece in the shop and we'll tell you about it.
It's quite personal in a way. And we've got customers we've known for 10 years who have become friends, some of them, you know. So it's like, that's nice. You know what I mean? And people like that. I appreciate that. You know, some people have literally been buying from us since the market store, and it's like, you know, it's nice. And a lot of the time they come in, they just want to have a chat. They don't even buy anything, you know. But that's all part of the community, I guess, that we have.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And I, like, for someone who hasn't visited the store, I think the level of curation is like what really sets you apart. Because like even if we just talk the t-shirts, I think I was in there last week and I always love looking at even for like references and whatnot, as a lot of people probably do. But some of those tees, I'm like, where the fuck have you guys found this?
Yeah.
And also to have like the nous and like the guys to fucking be like, you know what, that's not the most like obvious thing, but it's cool, and we're gonna put it on the rail, put it in the shop. It's nice to see, and I feel.
I mean, like the random tees.
The most like random graphic tees, and you're like, you know what, that's fucking sick. That's really cool to see, and it's like a lot of other vintage shops. I think it's just like going to fucking Primark, man. It's just like
that's like going back to like where we're buying it on the spot.
Yeah.
Like, you know, if I'm buying on my own, I'm like, right, you know, is this going to go down well? Does it fit in? And you know, I take the risk in buying it.
Yeah.
And we both do that with pieces, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And sometimes, like we said, they go down well. Sometimes they fucking don't. But
and they look.
Got to give it a crack.
Yeah.
You got to try, and they look good. And there are other vintage shops I think that do it really well too. But you'll find your own avenue.
Yeah, of
You know
course.
what I mean, and we have ours at Dukes, which is like, You know, it's our style. And then there's other vintage shops where the brands are slightly different. Maybe there's some crossovers, but
Yeah.
they have their style and their route. And it's like, I respect that too. But it's definitely a skill to be able to curate a rail of
Yeah, I agree.
vintage clothing and make it look somewhat, you know, like there's some kind of logic throughout the rail, you know?
It's like an art, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it definitely is. Yeah, yeah, because you got to complement your collection, right? You've got to sit with each other and work harmoniously through the store, and
Yeah.
it's like a journey, right? You like go
Well,
one section to the
how I
next.
look at it is like what we put next to each other. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's like the things that no one in the last 30 years has put this next to this, but we are putting this next to this.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like a fucking vintage Stone Island jacket next to, you know, a vintage art tee and so on and so on. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just a mix of stuff from over the years, you know, but some the best, you know.
So is the through your through the journey, is there any brands that you like have been stung by that you won't go near now, or you just find don't work in London, or maybe they work in your Amsterdam store and not so much in London, and vice versa, and
I think there
or things that you find on your buying visits that are abundant somewhere and no one cares about, and you're like, this is great for us, that people go crazy for in London.
I mean, there's definitely, I mean, in Amsterdam, the brands that work, that you know, there's things that sell better there than they do in London. And there's also things like, you go to vintage shops in LA and they're selling like certain old brands that people care about a lot more there than they do in London, you know. So I guess you kind of work to your audience, but that's also changing. You know, there's things like you know, I love vintage Gap from like the 80s and 90s. I love it. And like when I go to LA, I can often see cool vintage Gap in vintage stores and out when I'm buying. And there are a few people who like that and wear that and want to buy that in London, but a lot less so than the States, personally, I think, you know. So it's like, but for me, it's like I'd love to put loads of that in the store, but it probably wouldn't sell for that much or wouldn't sell that fast, you know.
Yeah.
But it's kind of just like learning, and Amsterdam is like, you know, we sell a lot of, you know, these obscure vintage tees we're talking about that are non-branded, you know, that we love to look at, love to wear some of them. Amsterdam is a bit more brand focused for us, you know, a bit more streetwear, designer, brand focused than the London store, because whether it's that street or that city, that seems to sell better there, you know? So you kind of just learn through trial and error what works in what place and work to your audience. And then take risks, as Ned said, try different things, you know? Try things where you're like, I think this is cool, so I'm going to put it in the shop, you know? Maybe no one else cares or thinks it's cool and it doesn't sell, or maybe like it gets a really good reception. You know what I mean? So you got to just keep trying new things, I think. With that, for sure.
And there's brands that make a comeback for like a year and then they fade away again. And it's like you have to be ahead of it and be like, fuck it, I'm gonna stockpile that brand. We're gonna make some money off it for the next year. If it dies, it dies. Whatever. Do you know what I mean?
Cut your losses.
It changes. Do you know what I mean? These brands from the past, just because they make a comeback doesn't mean they're back here for good. They might last a year, might last two. And off the back of them coming back in the vintage scene, some of the brands have tried to relaunch. You know? They company-wise, some of these brands were dead. They weren't doing anything. Then they're like, oh, people are wearing our old stuff again. Let's relaunch.
Yeah.
And it's like, it didn't really work for a few brands to relaunch.
Yeah.
I don't, you know, there's a few on my mind. I don't really want to like call them out, like, but
no, but some things I think are good. Their comeback. And
No, it's good for a clip. You got to call them. Starts a debate. And it's good for the brands because then they get real feedback. You see.
I think Ed Hardy was like one of them that we were selling.
Okay.
And maybe like Averex was one of them as well.
I feel like for me with those two brands, like Ed Hardy probably had a couple of teas when I was fucking teenage. I think some boy kicking about me. Bedazzled Ed Hardy tee.
You had that rhinestone trucker, bro.
Come on,
I know you did.
Yeah. You know me. But I feel like for a lot of things, it had a moment, it had energy, and you can't necessarily rebottle that and resell it.
That's the thing, man. The moment should have stayed. Sometimes the moment should stay where it was in 2004.
And people
want
the old stuff.
As well.
They didn't want your new shit that you're selling in Urban Outfitters. Like, they don't want that.
But sometimes it has a place again now in the modern day, that moment, and sometimes you're like, that is just better left where it was then.
Like Von Dutch is the same. Like
Von Dutch.
A lot of those brands, man.
Yeah, that's definitely come back and gone a few times.
Yeah.
For us, you know, Mad documentary, that Von Dutch one. I don't know if you've seen
I didn't
it.
see that.
It's insane. Yeah, I watched a bit of it the other
I'm
day.
seeing it on a
Where,
few
when
other.
you watch that?
Yeah, about the
The family
family. I
of
can't
Von
remember where I
Dutch.
saw it, man. But it's just a mental story. Yeah, good documentary to watch.
Okay,
that,
I'll
yeah.
check that out.
But yeah, some things are better left in the past, basically.
Yeah.
Is what I'm saying.
But we find that a lot with footwear though. Like the amount of footwear that's like reissued and at the moment necessarily doesn't make sense.
Nike rinsing everything.
Yeah.
Bringing it back, rinsing it. Bringing it back, rinsing it.
Yeah.
It's weird though, because sometimes I like to
Maybe
see
cut
that.
that out, man. I don't know. I think we're trying to work.
No, it's a conversation we've had many times.
I don't know, man. They
and
could
it's
just leave it a little bit
particularly
longer before
pertinent
they
at the
bring some
moment,
shit
yeah.
back, man, I think.
Yeah.
They need to
It
make
was 20 years. I mean, that's a long time.
Yeah.
Like a lot
What
of
do
this
you
stuff
mean?
at the minute is like 20 plus years.
Right, yeah.
But that's good. I think if someone's
Yeah.
coming back 20 years later, the people are waiting.
You got to
for it.
remember, like, apart from
No, they've been
like
bringing
apart
back
from
a lot of it every 5 years.
but a lot
for
of
the last
old
25
dudes like
Yeah,
me.
I agree.
and once or twice in between.
Yeah, they are. They are.
And they've been bringing shit back at the wrong times, man. I swear. Fuck, anyway. Don't get me going, man.
Nah, that's what we want. We want you get you going. I mean, we've spoken to a couple of guests about the retroing of like particularly, big
Yeah.
collector's items like the chlorophyll.
Yeah.
Pattern will be out next month.
Yeah, I like that shoe.
I'm
I do
hyped.
like
I'm
that.
hyped for those, man.
Undefeated.
Yeah, no, I'm
I'm
hyped.
hyped.
They
Yeah.
look great,
Yeah.
man. They look great.
That's a
Yeah.
legendary.
And they waited ages to bring them
Yeah,
back.
they-
man.
Yeah,
They-
I don't remember.
they-
That was
yeah.
like at least 20 years, that shoe.
Yeah.
Or I don't know.
It
Maybe
was.
it wasn't. Maybe it wasn't that long, but
I don't know the exact year.
I
but
don't
It was
know.
09. It was
09,
they released
yeah.
in 09, so it's,
Okay. I was
gonna
it's
say
been like
15.
15 years.
I was going to
yeah,
say
I
50.
mean,
It's
that's
like-
a...
Pat
that's
is
a-
20 years
Yeah,
this
20
year.
yeah,
right?
Yeah,
So,
Pat's
yeah.
20 this year.
But for me specifically with that shoe, because I'm like, people who watch it, every podcast will be like, you fucking change your tune every week depending on who the collaborator is or what the Nike retro is.
Yeah.
But the chlorophyll for me, like, that's a shoe that's always kind of been like 400 to like 800 quid depending on the condition.
Right.
So I've never been able to like get a pair and like just fucking batter them, wear the fuck out of them.
Mm-hmm.
Just like walk the dog in them, just like not care, pour fucking Stella on them, just have a fuck about and really just enjoy like life in a shoe.
Yeah,
Which I enjoy doing.
Wear your air.
Yeah, wear your fucking air, man.
Yeah, wear your shit. Wear your
For
shit.
real.
Like,
I mean, that's what it's for, really.
Yeah.
You know?
So for them to come back and like be like 150, 60 quid, however much they are, and be able to pick a pair up and just be like, you know what, I'm gonna fucking wear them.
yeah.
It's gonna be nice because previously you would have had to give someone 600-700 quid.
No,
I think.
What are you laughing at, man?
yeah, because previously all Reese would have saw in them was the profit margin. He wouldn't have seen
Right.
he wouldn't have seen a wearable piece of
But that's like
footwear.
Showing his age now.
that's not that's not necessarily a bad thing though, man. Everyone's gonna live, and like I'd rather earn a couple of
Yeah, but
quid flipping
but what I
trainers
mean,
than-
but my point is, like, do you actually even like footwear? If that's your dominant thought, I buy shoes because I want to wear them. I want to put them on my feet.
I'm
I want
a businessman.
I want to
man,
show them
first.
off.
Now you got to do both.
They're
though,
not a
man.
fucking commodity.
Oh, they are. I think
They're not.
They are, man.
Yeah, they're
They
not.
are.
They're
Everything's
not.
a commodity.
You're either a
Everything's
trainer
full
fan or
price.
you're having to make sparingly. You have to make the decision sparingly because you can't go out and buy shoes every week like you used to be able to.
Yeah.
You have to pick your battles, don't you? That's,
I hear you.
Yeah,
I hear you.
that's what I mean.
Blame the
yeah.
company, mate.
Like, I'd
They're
probably
the
have
ones
the access
controlling it.
to go and get all these shoes that I don't like and make money, but I don't because
Are we wrong?
all I'm doing is stopping someone who does like that shoe
I hear you.
and wants to wear it.
Listen, I'm not like,
Or in Reese's case, I'm just blocking the next reseller.
No, but it's.
I know that's pure, and it's just
we-
it's not. In reality, that holds no.
yeah.
It's just not going to happen. But
Like I respect what you're saying. I completely get it from your perspective, but for me, I'm like, there's money on the table.
like most of the things I wear, Reese is like, "Why have you fucking worn them? You'd have been able to sell them for loads."
Yeah, and you know,
There's no right or wrong
There's
to
not.
this, man.
There's not.
It's
No.
like whatever you want to do with your shoes that you've bought is your right.
Yeah,
It's back to what we
yeah.
were talking
Yeah,
about.
you're
absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like if you've gone and copped the shoes and you want to fucking wear them around and batter them, do your thing, fair play. And if you want to make an extra 200 quid and
I mean, don't get me wrong. There's not many of my shoes that look battered because they've only been worn,
So what's the
a handful of times.
What's
yeah,
the point?
yeah,
Because
yeah.
I've had the enjoyment
Just
of
in
the
case you want to
pursuit
sell them.
and wearing them at the time, and at some point I'll wear them again.
yeah.
But yeah, there's shoes in the collection I haven't worn for a decade, or
Yeah,
more.
no,
Yeah,
fair enough, man. I've got certain, not so much with shoes, but I've got certain like vintage t-shirts that I bought that they don't even fit me, but I've just
You-
bought them
you
because
like
I
them.
need to have that. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And like I'll
Yeah,
never
yeah,
sell
yeah.
it. Like, you know, I love it. It means something to me. So I completely get it.
Yeah.
But I guess we all have different passions in what, you know, in whatever's that's in. And the truth is, man, like, you know, I remember years ago I went to India one Christmas. I didn't have too much money at the time. I had a Stone Island collection. I sold half my collection. It paid for me to go travel around India for a month. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't regret doing that.
No.
You know, I won't find some of those jackets again. They're worth a lot more now, yes.
Yeah.
But, like, they came in handy having that stuff then. So sometimes I look at it like that. It's like an asset, you know, to have that stuff. Like, if you were ever banging trouble, mate.
Oh, mate,
And
I've
you
sold
really
some
needed
serious
to.
shoes to
You're
pay
talking
to
about
pay
the-
HMRC.
There you go.
Do you know what I mean?
You're
Do you know
talking
what I mean?
about
Yeah.
the week after the release of a shoe, though, right? Like, so that the market is like, that's what you mean?
Well, yeah, I can't enter the market unless I'm buying it on the day of
No,
release.
no, I know.
'cause-
So I'm just saying this, you know, vintage Stone Islands and shoes that are a week old is slightly.
No, I understand that, but the
You're not
principle's
fucking up the market.
No,
by-
but the principle's the same, I guess. You know,
Yeah.
it's like sometimes you need to sell something, you know, and
True,
that's when
true,
it
true.
comes in handy having this stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm saying you're thinking about fucking up the market for other people. You're just talking about selling for yourself, so you got some readies.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
like,
I've
you
done
know,
that. I've obviously
Yeah,
done
yeah,
that, and will continue to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're talking about hype shoe being sold, resold in the market like a week, the week after a release, right?
Yeah.
That's what you mean.
Yeah, or
Yeah,
just
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
just looking at a shoe like
See
and
dollar
not,
bills.
and not seeing it as that's a shoe I'd really like to
Yeah,
wear.
true.
I'd love to get a pair and put them on my feet. You're looking at shoes, and think, fucking hell,
Yeah.
I can flip that and make money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guess it
Like at
depends.
that point, do you really like shoes or not?
Well, it depends.
Well, you know, probably like money more than shoes.
Well, that's what it depends what's
Yeah.
going on for you
Yeah.
that day, man.
Yeah.
Some days I like money more than shoes. Some
Yeah.
days
True,
I like
it's
shoes
true.
more
Yeah,
than money.
yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
That's a good.
some
That's a good point.
Like some
Yeah.
days I need to like money more than shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, some days I can afford to like shoes more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
you know.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, that's probably one of the realest things anyone's ever
Yeah.
said.
Well, you know.
It's
it's-
your own
it's,
market, your own personal
Yeah.
market.
Well, yeah, like, you know, it depends what's going on for you in your life.
You could
at that
like,
moment, I
you could,
guess.
you could fucking adore a shoe, but you might need the money from that shoe to pay a fucking bill.
Yeah.
So like ultimately in that moment you're like, well, the shoe's a shoe. It'll be reissued again or it'll come again.
Of course.
But like this needs dealt with now.
I've got to pay rent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's very like real world things that I think like a lot of people gloss over, like are almost like living idealistically in like, oh, rent's not an issue, fucking bills aren't an issue. When in reality, if the product's sitting there, you just flip it, man. You can get it back. I know in your case you can't, because a lot of that stuff you'll never see again. And it's like rare, it's in a unique size for whatever reason. But yeah, the game's the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some days it's money, some days it's shoes.
Done.
Is that a major key from Reese?
But obviously you got the Amsterdam store now.
Yeah.
You've had the how long's the current shop in Soho been? A couple of years.
The one in London.
Yeah.
Just over 5 years.
5 years. So
Yeah.
you've probably had a lot of like colourful characters, big faces, big names.
Yeah.
Like
Few people, yeah.
so.
Oh, yeah, so you'd have been pretty young when the whole fucking COVID situation hit.
Yeah, man, that happened about a year after we opened. Was it about a year after we opened, I think?
That shop, yeah.
We'd had a shop before that for 2 years, the
Yeah.
old shop. But the shop we're in now, we opened it, and then maybe just under a year later, we got slapped with COVID, which
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
tough. And still, to be honest, we're still working ways through that now, years later, like many people with shops are.
Yeah.
You know, it's not, you know, but that was, man, that was tough.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was like, you know, what can you do? Do you know what I mean? Thankfully, we're still here giving it a go.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But yeah, Amsterdam was about 9 months ago we opened that, which has been cool, man. Refreshing. Like Amsterdam, like
Yeah.
the place, like the
Sick
people
place.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, wicked city. Great street we're on. You know, we had a little help from our friends at Patter in getting access to the actual shop we're in, which was, you know, really grateful to them for that. And it's been, you know, a nice little addition to Dukes. You know, good team out there. It's good, man. Yeah, and they've just been there last week.
Yeah. I was out there restocking the shop for the last 4 days. Yeah, man. It's always good. It's like a change of scenery, you know. It's a chill city.
Yeah.
And they care about, you know, the culture around all the clothing, the sneakers and that. Do you know what I mean? There's a good community of people out there. It's cool, man.
Did you do King's Day?
No, I missed it. I've always wanted
Because
to go.
big market in the.
Good
Yeah, there's a
buying,
lot of-
innit?
yeah,
I've
a
heard
lot of
it's good
sales,
buying.
yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people just pulling up, selling on
Yeah.
it. Yeah, no, maybe next year I'll get there, man. I've always wanted to go. to King's Day. I guess it's like their kind of like carnival or
Yeah.
equivalent of.
I've never done it either. No,
Yeah.
definitely one day for sure.
For sure, same. I'd love
Yeah.
to do
Yeah,
King's Day.
man.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of orange. If you didn't know, so it's definitely my day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Where's the orange? You've got green top.
Yeah,
No,
green
no,
shoes,
no
green
orange
t-shirt.
today. I can't wear it every day.
The spray tan.
I'm manifesting the chlorophyll.
The only thing orange is that Bondi sands on your arms, son.
Yeah, thanks.
Right. Obviously, you had a lot of people coming through the shop. Shop in Soho is a bit of a nuts place. Everyone knows it. There's a lot of mad people coming about. You've had Central C,
Yeah.
ASAP Rocky, Bella Hadid come through the shop.
Yeah.
What were those interactions like? How did that go down?
Yeah, Bella, she's super cool. Came with her boyfriend from the time. Super sweet girl.
Sick.
She's probably spent about an hour in the shop. Bought a real array of things, man. Like fucking. She bought this like vintage Stone Island jacket made from like PVC,
Okay.
which just had like that jacket, which is like super old school raincoat
Yeah.
with the embossed Stone Island on the back.
Yeah.
Like brown, I think it was brown or like burgundy. Yeah, she bought one of those. Bought some like vintage Nike shirt. Yeah, man, she's cool. Yeah, it was nice to meet her. Obviously, she's like global fucking superstar, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's it was quite mad to have her in the shop.
Yeah,
you
I'd
know?
imagine.
Yeah.
I'd imagine.
Yeah, but super sweet, man. She was cool. Great to meet her, for sure. Thinking of who else has been in the store. ASAP Rocky. You met ASAP Rocky.
Yeah. He came in a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
I was working in there with Joe Marshall on that day.
Oh yeah,
Do you know Joe Marshall? I feel like you do. He makes a lot of videos for a lot of great. Used to work with BBC a
I'm
bit.
not sure I do.
Anyway, lovely guy, he's a friend of ours, but does a lot of our creative work. But on that day, happened to be helping on the shop floor.
Yeah.
And ASAP Rocky came in with his stylist, and again said loads of nice stuff about the store. Bought
That's-
really
that's
interesting
cool.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like really sweet, and we kind of had a nice conversation, and that was we've had a few all kinds of people coming in over the years, and Central C he hit us up and wanted to come in.
Yeah.
And he came with a few of his pals, and we actually closed the shop kind of for him, and that was he was really nice and he bought some cool stuff, man. He bought some really. I bought that sick vintage G Unity.
Oh yeah.
Like he bought.
And he
some
wore that
And
actually
the
in his
freestyle he put out
freestyle,
recently, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was like a week after he came in.
That's sick.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
That's what you want when someone
Yeah.
like that comes
Yeah.
in. You want to see them actually wearing it. So that was cool. But yeah, he was a nice dude, man.
Shame it doesn't say Duke's covered on it.
Yeah.
Also H as well.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
That rapper
Come
as
in.
well.
Adam Sandler recently, which was
That's
really
sick.
Neither
Yeah,
of
that
us
was
were
mad,
there.
yeah.
Carter, who works in the store, he was in there. But that was, getting the photo of him in the store
Yeah.
for me was personally like an all-time favourite.
Yeah.
Yeah, legend, isn't it?
Trying to think, bunch of people, man. Loyal Kana comes in a lot. He's kind of become a friend of ours. Shopping in the store, really nice guy. I guess it's cool because of where we are and because of what we do, we attract all kinds of people from all walks of life.
Came in yesterday, Jay Shetty. Jay Shetty
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
the podcast.
Yeah.
He popped in yesterday. It's good to meet
Sick.
him. Yeah. Didn't get a photo, man. It wasn't the right time, but yeah.
Yeah, sometimes it's not really right to ask,
Yeah.
and sometimes it is. I mean, Joe took that photo of ASAP Rocky
On the sly.
on the slide as I was shaking his hand, saying
Yeah,
thank
yeah,
you.
yeah.
That's
Yeah, it's a
yeah,
money
yeah.
shot. But
Yeah.
thank God he got it because we asked after, can we get a
Yeah.
flick? And the guy he
Yeah.
was with, like his security guard, was like, sorry, no
But
photos.
thank God someone that knows a photo like that's going to be valuable
Yeah,
was there.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
the-
Joe's a photographer,
the-
so he was
yeah.
like the perfect dude that
Yeah.
he just
Yeah,
took
yeah,
it.
yeah,
You know?
the beers were on you that night.
Yeah. No, he did well with that one. But that stuff in our game does matter.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
photo of the
Yeah,
person in
of
the
course.
store,
Yeah.
Good to show the world who's coming in the shop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And we had in Amsterdam actually Alchemist came in
Oh, that's
last
cool.
week, which
That's
was
sick.
sick. That was like, we've only been there 9 months. For me, that's like the first. I've had a few interesting people come in, actors and musicians,
Yeah.
but for me that was like the biggest.
Someone you resonate
Yeah,
with.
man.
Yeah,
To have him in there was sick, man.
I
to
think
get
there maybe is a
photo.
little bit less like, high profile celebs walking around Amsterdam.
Yeah,
than
I'd
there
agree.
is in London.
I'd agree with you.
I'm sure a few people visit, but I mean, I don't know. In London, there's just always fucking people. walking
Especially
about.
Soho.
Yeah.
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 You never know who you're
Yeah.
going to bump into.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did. In June, we did a pop up in Paris for Fashion Week with Sean, and we saw Vincent Cassell walked past
Wow.
the pop-up. Didn't come in, but like we had these T-shirts we made for the pop-up that had the quote from La Haine on the T-shirt.
Oh, it's
Just go see tu vas bien.
yeah.
And obviously that's him in his movie. And like I walked down the street after him and was like, and I never really do that, but I'm a big fan of his in that movie.
Yeah.
And ended up giving him the T-shirt, and he was a really sweet guy.
That's
but he
nice.
wouldn't let me get a photo. But he was like,
Yeah.
you know, he was with his missus and out about, which I completely respect and understand. But like I keep thinking, man, that would have been the money.
Yeah,
like, to have a photo of him holding that T-shirt would have just been like the bollocks. But yeah, you know, you gotta sometimes ask and try.
Yeah,
know,
you got
that's
you got
like-
shoot your shot sometimes.
Yeah.
He may turn up on his socials wearing it. You never know.
mate.
Yeah.
Never know. Yeah.
Him getting the paper, a couple of croissants,
Yeah.
cutting out the Duke's tea on. That's what you need.
That's what you need, mate. Yeah.
Cutting down La Marais with the Duke's
Yeah.
covered Le Haine tea on.
It was mad. He was walking around Marais like in the middle of Fashion Week. You know what I mean?
It
I
was
just
Fête
thought-
de la Musique, like in the
Yeah,
middle of that.
wow.
It was that day,
It was that
right?
day, man.
Yeah.
He was just bopping about like with his like family. Do you know what else just reminded me? The shot we did a Godfather collab a few years ago for the 50th anniversary of the movie.
Yeah.
And somehow we have a friend who's linked to Ray Winston, and we managed to get a photo of him in the Godfather
Wow.
t-shirt. That was
Oh,
sick.
Yeah, that was good.
That
That's
was cool,
cool.
man. Obviously, he's a, like, you know, British legend, and that
Yeah.
film's like the, you know, most iconic films. That was cool getting that. But yeah, it's kind of opened up some funny doors, man. Yeah, line of work, you know.
So you speak of doors. What's the you've worked with brands before. What's on the bucket list? Brands to work with, sort of projects you want to be involved with. Anything you can
At the moment,
tease us with
we're
coming
in
up.
conversation with a few different brands at the moment, sort of pitching them ideas, and you know, obviously our shop's in Soho, so a lot of offices for cool brands are not far away, right?
Yeah.
So, and we're friends with a lot of people from brands and stuff like that. So, we're always talking about potential projects and collaborations with people. At the moment, nothing we can probably say about right now, unless you can think of something that's super confirmed.
I mean, like, you know, there's one or two We're focusing on merch a lot now.
Yeah.
Every night for the store, for both the stores. You know, this year we're focusing a lot on Duke's merch, and you know, there's something that looks like it's happening at the end of September, October with a brand that we grew up wearing that we love. That's like, I don't want to say what it is here, but it will, you know, soon we will.
I think I know what it is. I'm not going to say it.
What?
I think I know what it is.
There's a couple bits and bobs you know, that are exciting. I mean, this Friday we're doing something cool with Run the Boroughs and New Balance. We're just doing a little 5K run.
That's
And
cool.
we're making some merch for that, and that's
Sick.
like a carnival warm up thing. And
Yeah.
we got home sliced pizzas, supplying pizzas after.
Sick.
So that's like
Nice.
more of a,
Yeah.
you know, there's you know, home sliced, New Balance, Run the Boroughs, Dukes. There's a bunch of cool
Collectives.
collectives there, but it's more of a passion thing, I guess, you know. But that's as important to us doing that stuff, you know. So yeah, there's a few things, man.
Things we've done recently that, you know, are on our Instagram and things like that. For people who don't know our Instagram, we helped to launch a new shoe for Kareem Abdul-Jabbar,
Yeah.
the OG basketball player. That was with Adidas. We went out to LA to sort of we had like an educational trip. So we went to the Adidas like office out there. We went to a Lakers game with the whole team. So that was super cool, inspiring as well.
Yeah.
And then we launched that shoe in store in London.
Sick.
Like a month ago now.
Yeah.
And also we dropped our second New Era hat a few months ago as well.
Yeah.
That was
Which
cool.
was a good
That's
collab
cool.
as well.
And we just did a cool zine actually, which was just off our own backs, you know.
Yeah.
Just shooting people from our community, called Clothes Minded,
Yeah.
which was like, you know, super fun project that you know, Ned and some of us from Dukes kind of worked on. But that was good fun and seemed to be getting a good reception. That's like very recent. Like,
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
I
it's
was
nice.
actually away, but the launch was like last week.
We actually
Yeah.
did the launch in at Reference Point, which is part of 180th Strand.
Okay.
You know that,
Yeah.
that new, well, I don't know if it's new now, been there for a while, but we normally do events at our shop, but I thought, you know, like, we just thought it'd be cool to do an event at a different space. And it was, because it was quite an arty project, you know, the zine that we made. Have you guys seen it?
Yeah. I've seen it.
Yeah.
I
I
think
think
I
I
haven't,
showed
like-
you in store, right?
Yeah, I haven't like flicked through it like fully, but like I've seen the in store and then the bits and bobs you've shared on your
Yeah,
socials.
yeah.
It's
Anyway.
it's like
It was like
page
a
filter
flip-
3 and
Yeah,
it's like
yeah,
yeah,
head
exactly,
shot, torso shot, like
You mix
Yeah.
it up.
bottom
Yeah,
up
it's
shot.
really
Yeah.
cool.
No, it was good fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
good.
But it was
Yeah.
good to do an event at a different spot rather than our shop.
Yeah.
Because we've done so many there, you know. It's always a good spot to do things, but it's nice to
Yeah.
have our community in a different space as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I suppose when you were on the market still, I bet you never thought you'd work with Adidas to launch a shoe in the UK or do a collab with New Year or
No,
produce your own zine.
definitely
Yeah,
not.
man.
Yeah.
We're lucky. We're really lucky. We've worked with some of our favourite brands.
Yeah.
You know, there's other brands
I've-
we haven't worked with that I'd love to work with still, but we've worked with some of our favourite brands.
This ain't a Duke. This might be a Duke's thing actually. When you work with BMW, that was fucking
Yeah,
sick.
that was for me personally. I'm a big fan
Yeah.
of classic cars
Yeah.
and BMW, and that was that was sick. That was random and not entirely like. I mean, it was Dukes related, but
Yeah.
weirdly, the reason I got that job is because I used to drive a 1985 BMW, a Bauer E30, and I used to park it in kind of like Fitzrovia, Wells Street. And I didn't realise this, but I was parking it outside the BMW office.
Oh.
I didn't know that. For years, I used to park my car there, and obviously one of the dudes who worked in the office knew our shop and put 2 and 2 together.
Oh,
and
sick.
then, like hit me up and like
Mad coincidence.
Mad,
Yeah,
bruv.
yeah.
Parking it outside that.
Yeah, and then that was good fun, and I mean, I'd love to work with them more. Do you know? It's
Yeah.
cool to work with brands like that. That you know, I mean, there's amazing BMW merch made over the years. Obviously, they're a car brand, but like, I love working with brands that aren't big, iconic, legendary logos that aren't
Yes.
necessarily clothing brands. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I love doing stuff like that. I'd like to, do more of that. Like the Godfather thing we did.
Yeah, a
the
little
Yeezy,
bit
like-
different than just like, not as expected as just like collaborating with another sportswear
Yeah,
brand,
just
do you know
outside
what I
your
mean?
immediate circle. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. I'd love to work with more car brands and stuff like that, man.
Yeah, man.
Great.
Yeah.
But did you
Rolex
ask
Go-
a question about a dream collab? Was that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's obvious ones, man, like Stone Island, fucking like making an Air Max 95, like things like that would be amazing.
Yeah.
I guess it.
Rolex, yeah, it'd be fun. That'd be fun to see.
Yeah, no, shout out Sloan for doing that recently, man. I mean, met him a couple of times, and that, that's impressive, man. that
Yeah.
He made the Rolex.
That'd be a fun.
I don't know how many he made, but it's pretty sick.
Was it 10?
It was official, right?
No, I think you just got the dials.
Is it?
Yeah, I think you just bought date. Was it Datejust or an OP?
Sick. It's even
That
better.
wasn't
yeah.
official.
Even
No.
better that you did it like
Oh,
that,
man.
man. Even
Maybe
cool.
cut that
That's-
shit out, man. I thought that was official.
It is.
Sorry, I just-
I agree. I think it's. I
I
think
think
it
it's
is
even
even
cooler
cooler.
that he did that.
I'm kicking myself when I'm buying a canvas, man. Like couple of years ago for £500.
Oh well.
Could have been a little retirement fund that.
Yeah.
New
Never
Rolly
know.
at least.
That's
yeah.
not like you,
Yeah,
Reece.
yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I doubted myself. I doubted myself. I was like, had the money there, didn't buy it, and now I'm kicking myself. Yeah.
We've all been there.
That's the
man.
game, man.
That's the game.
I'd like to do an official Rolex collab, man. Duke's covered official.
Oh, that would be-
Rolex.
yeah.
That would be
That
killer,
would be
man.
the one.
Even
Take over the Bond Street stores.
even merch, man. Because
Yeah.
their merch is iconic, which is
Mate,
like
some of my favourite stuff. I mean, we actually had a customer who worked in their design team,
wow.
and he kept coming in, and I was like, thinking like, is there a way in here? Do you know what I mean? To like make some cool stuff with them.
It was the
but
brother and sister, innit? The girl was at Rolex and the dude was at Yankees.
That was it.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
that.
cool.
Mad
Yankees,
family,
right?
yeah,
I mean, Yankees would be sick. Ralph Lauren for me as well. I mean, we have actually worked with them on a few different like creative
Sorry.
jobs, like videos for them and releases. But to actually make some product with them would be, I'd love to do that, man.
The list is fucking
Endless.
It's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
like the dream collab list would just be like fucking ridiculous. I couldn't list all of them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, man.
You want to pull a question up, Reece?
Pull a question up. Wow. Okay. Wow. Say less, man. Say less. Go
I'm
on.
just thinking we haven't shared a home slice pizza for a while. They just mentioned home slice.
Yeah, but it's not on the choice no more.
No.
Where's it? Covent Garden.
There's a few of them about, isn't there?
Where's the pizza?
Where
This
are we
one
now?
on
We're
old
in- we're in Shoreditch.
this one on Old Street went. Yeah.
Pizza on there was sick, man.
Oh right, that one. It was quite small, right?
Yeah.
Kind of on the corner.
Yeah. Yeah, it sort of went round the back and
Just trying to think what one touched on.
Yo, guys, I just got to extend my parking. Just ran out 2 minutes ago. Sorry.
All good.
79646.
How long do you reckon left race?
I'll say 10 minutes.
Yeah. If we touched on most things?
You think? You think
I think it's been good.
Just thinking
Yeah,
if there's
most
anything
things.
we want to talk about, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I
um,
guess things just come out naturally, innit?
yeah, they do. They do.
yeah.
You lot have got a list, which
We've done new.
Well, these are like quick fires, sort of roll on from the sort of dream collab. So These would be
Where's-
easier.
Well, let's just take turns answering them. Or do you want us both to answer them? Whatever. We'll
Either
see what
either
happens
or.
naturally.
Okay. Like favorite vintage designer.
Sorry, guys.
Favorite vintage designer, like individual or like a brand?
Both.
Vintage designer.
Well, like a Missoni or something like that, or like a
Oh,
like
right.
a Prada or a,
Like a traditional brand.
Yeah.
Oh, Prada, man.
Prada.
Yeah. I know you just said it, but like,
Yeah,
yeah, Prada's like up there, man. Probably one of my favorite brands for sure.
yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
just sorry guys.
Sure.
man,
Oh,
I've
good,
got to
don't worry.
I don't want to get a ticket. Give me 10 minutes. I've just got to add.
Yeah, Missoni I do like. Yeah, but I've not worn much of it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I've got a mate who looks great in it. He loves it. He wears it all the time. He's like super slim, like little lad. Yeah, I don't know. It's not really, never been for me. All right, mate.
Yeah,
That
just
car,
that
Fucking
car,
hell.
mate. Yeah, okay, done, cool. Sorry about that.
That's all good. Don't worry.
Parking
Don't worry.
ticket, man.
Don't worry.
Then I have to sell some
I've-
trainers. Man.
Yeah, I get.
Yeah.
All right, so favorite vintage designer.
What's your favorite designer?
Like
Don't mind-
iconic brand, I
Yeah,
guess.
like from like an
Okay,
iconic
favourite
brand.
designer,
Yeah.
Probably. I mean, for me, like Stone Island, Massimo
Stone Island,
Rosti,
yeah.
like some of that stuff from the back in the day, man, is like ahead of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
probably.
Still is now.
Yeah, still
Ahead of
is
its
now.
time. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll probably say that. I reckon. Yeah.
Am I just firing? Or you
Yeah, you fire away, mate.
can't get the staff, can you, man? We kind of touched on those. ALD lookbook. How did that come about?
They that was cool doing that, man, and they're kind of just friends of ours,
Yeah.
those guys, and a lot of our friends work there, and they just hit us up and said, "Do you want to be in our London chapter lookbook?"
That's- yeah.
Which was like, I was really grateful they did, and it was like an honour to be a part of that.
For sure, man. They've
yeah,
always
man.
shown love since they've moved to London.
That's
haven't they?
nice.
Yeah, they've always popped in, like
Yeah.
when they came in, when they first moved, when they were setting up the store, they would
Yeah.
pop in the store. They obviously hired Dre, who's like, he used to manage Patter, so they took him on, so he probably showed them around and said like, who they should meet and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And since then we've just been pals, man, all the team.
Sick.
Because some
Yeah.
of the team stayed in London for months,
Yeah.
so we got to know them, hung out with them and that.
Mm.
So yeah, man.
And some of
guess
the guys from New York from that team have all, also friends of ours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's all pretty like natural, and also like, I mean, personally, I like their stuff. I wear it, so like it was cool to be in that lookbook, actually wearing clothes that I
You
really like.
choose
to wear
yourself anyway, yeah.
I've spent money in that store. Do you know what I mean? I like their stuff. They
Yeah.
make, yeah, man. So that was good. It was good
Sick.
fun doing that. Yeah.
How about your connection with Sean Witherspoon? How did that?
We've known Sean for years. I met him in LA initially, at a flea market, and just become like a really good mate, man. And we've worked with him on a bunch of different jobs over the years, pop-ups and stuff in London, stuff in Paris. Just this summer, we're just pals now. We've all like kind of like grown up alongside each other over the last 10, 12 years, and all gone and done our different things, and just all interested in similar stuff. Like when he's in London, he comes and sees us and we hang out.
Yeah.
When we're in LA, we check him and hang out. It's just like nice having that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, he's a sweet guy, Sean, and he's obviously doing his thing. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah, all those guys, man, from round two. Luke, Chris, they're all lovely chaps.
Yeah.
All become like family, man. Just like
Yeah.
whenever they're in town, they check in. When we did a pop up at Luke's in New York, so like, he hosted us there, and we did a pop up in Paris with Sean at Fashion Week, and Sean's great to be around, man. Super passionate. He's just got great energy. He just knows so many people. He's worked with so many brands. He's great to be around, man.
Yeah.
He's a great guy for sure.
I suppose it's nice when you're in like the company or friends with people who like are into the same shit as you, and you can just like
Just talk
not,
for fucking
yeah,
hours,
you
man.
can just like let that out.
Yeah, he's a perfect example of like having things in common with around this whole like sneaker fucking clothing. You can even talk to him about like not that he's a graffiti writer or anything, but you can talk to him about things like that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
He's into
Like,
it. He
he's
gets it.
he's tapped in. Like
We're like big kids, man.
Yeah.
Working with people like that, basically.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because we all like just love this shit.
Yeah.
And like grew up loving it. So we're all just excited until it's like kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like that. It's
Yeah.
like, it's refreshing.
Yeah.
And it's true. like people like Sean, we know a few of them who are just really passionate about what they're doing.
Yeah.
Like, and they like seeing the people around them winning. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's the thing. It's like, you know, you want to be around people like that who want to see the people around you winning and doing their thing.
Yeah.
You know, they're not haters.
Yeah.
It's like, let's all kind of bring each other up where we can, make fun stuff and have a laugh on the way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
Love
like,
that.
it's important,
Yeah.
you know? Yeah.
You realise that as you get older, do you know what I mean? And as you get more experience within your craft, man, you learn that. You meet more people that are sort of like trying to help you, and you know, growing up in London, it's like, you know, there's a lot of people that, you know, like Milo said, they don't really want to see you go far and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
It is good to meet people from different, you know, the other side of the world that are, you know, helping you come up, and it's like, I've known you for like a few years, like, and you're being really fucking great, you know. It's super nice.
Yeah, good to surround yourself with people like that. Yeah.
For sure, it's good, man.
Current tastes in like styling, like if you say you both had a grand, where would you?
That'd be nice.
Where say I give you a grand now, grand cash, both of you. Where are you just gonna go? Like, you can build an outfit with a grand. What are you just gonna build out? Where would you go shopping?
What, just like a grand on clothing?
Yeah, grand on clothing and like just an outfit. Yeah.
Oh man.
I know it's not much if you want a Stony jacket these days, but
Doesn't get you too far, does it?
Damn, what am I buying, man?
It's hard because we buy clothes every day for the store, man. It's like, shopping is like not quite.
what
So
it is to
I think
someone
I'm
else.
getting
I think
more and more
people who work-
particular, man.
I was saying this to someone yesterday. I think people who work in clothing, like it changes the way you shop
Yeah,
a bit.
it
Do
does.
you know what I
It
mean?
does.
Or like when you're like, it's extreme what we do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like collecting, but it's not like a normal way of approaching buying clothes. You know what I mean? I don't know where I'd go with a grand, man. I don't know, like.
It's not enough.
Huh?
Not enough.
No, not that. I just mean like, you know, I might pop my head in ALD.
Yeah.
I might, you
I
know.
won't go far in there.
No, I wouldn't go too far in there, but I might have, you know.
two items.
Yeah, maybe with
Two
a bit-
sweatshirts.
with a discount you might get lucky. But yeah, I don't know. Or maybe I would want to go to a high-end shop and treat myself to something nice, like a Prada. That probably wouldn't go far in there either. But
Doesn't go
you
far,
know,
man.
I don't know, man. Or I might
These
just,
days, buying, you know, like a Stony or a Prada or even ALD, it doesn't go far.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
No,
But I guess vintage, yeah. I mean, I don't know, man. Probably spread it across, man. Buy some vintage tees, and maybe
Spend it at Dukes, is that what you're saying?
I shop in other vintage stores.
yeah,
you know,
I might
there's
go
like-
to some other
there's
vintage
like-
stores
Yeah.
and use it there. Actually,
Yeah,
that's
it's
what I
like-
might do.
Yeah. I buy stuff from in Amsterdam recently. I was in I think I'm going to say the name right, Indigo Moon. I think that's what it's called. I bought some great vintage tees in there, you know, and yeah. So I do go and, you know, like we were saying, we would rather find pieces for as cheap as possible and pre-sale and stuff like that. Occasionally I'll go in another vintage store and I'll spend £100 on a t-shirt. Do you know what I mean? So like,
Yeah, man, it's
you know,
nice to do that.
if it's for myself and it fits perfectly,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, I bought a pair of just some tracksuit bottoms, nice vintage blank tracksuit bottoms out of 194 on Brick Lane the other week. You know,
Nice.
love that shop. Always good stuff in there. It's like, it's just, but then, yeah, I never really think, oh, I've got a grand, I'm going to go shopping.
Yeah, I hear
Do
you.
you know what I
I
mean?
hear you.
But like, I might look for something like weird that I've been after, like some Rolex bottoms to match my tracksuit that like, there must be a pair, I might search for them on eBay for hours, do you know, or some shit like that. But like, it's not like I'm going out like, you know, but if I'm out and about and I see something I like and I have some spare money.
It sort of happens accidentally, man.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I'm like in our legacy because the shop's been a bit quiet for an hour, and I go and spend a few £100 in there, and it's like, fucking hell, did I need that? Do you know what I mean? It's like,
yeah.
I don't know. This, you know.
Yeah.
Well, you end up. What's happened with me the last couple, like in the last year, happened to me like 2 or 3 times. I bought my missus something really nice and spent money on it, and then she's not wanted it, and I've not been able to return it for cash. So then I've gone and swapped that for something for myself. I've
Yeah.
ended up with this ridiculously expensive thing, and it's like I'm meant to buy my missus something, but I'm just like, now I've fucking spent it on myself.
So I thought that counts.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
know,
absolutely.
You know, but like, like somewhere like really nice for her birthday or something, and then she's just like, fucking, I don't want it. And it's
Yeah.
just like, fuck's sake. You end up with a gift voucher, credit note for like somewhere. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and it sits and sits and sits.
Yeah. Anyway.
Do you have any holy grail items that you're looking for?
What's a man? Awkward silence.
Um,
Holy grails.
Yeah.
That I'm still looking for, or
Yeah, like there's, you know, there's one thing you've seen, maybe you've seen it in another store or online or whatever, like that one mythical
tough,
item.
man.
there's things like, I don't know, man.
The unicorn.
Yeah, I mean, there's things that are about that you know, like in 2005, 6, Stone Island did all those opaque nylon puffer jackets.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I love those jackets. You know, I've got one of them. I would like, there's another one I've kind of been, when it's this winter, I might, you know, source one and grab one. I think about that sometimes. Or there's like I do think about, sometimes I sit up at night thinking about that shit. Like, that's the madness with this stuff. I do, you know, and then there's like, I don't know about holy grails. So it's just like, we're buying in so many weird places all the time. You sometimes just see something and you're like, you
it's
know.
sort of, for me. Sorry, we finished.
No, yeah, go ahead.
It's sort of changing. Yeah, I'll help you out, innit?
Yeah.
I've thought of something. It sort of changes for me. It's sort of like at the moment I've really like, I'm looking for like a good varsity jacket with like patches all over it.
Yeah.
You know, like one of those. You know what's inspired it is our manager from Amsterdam. He's just like he's got a lot of good workwear and stuff like that. And the other day he had this great varsity that didn't fit him, and I was like, oh, I really want one of them, but in a different colour. And just looking for like one of those real McCoy ones or something like that. Like,
Or like
they're like a grand.
A
do you know what I
golden
mean?
bear or something like that.
Yeah, golden bear. I'm not sure, but
Okay.
I don't know the name. But
I think it's
Yeah,
like
similar thing, is it?
yeah, it's similar. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, maybe put something on your, when it comes to varsities, I'll put something on your radar you're not aware of.
Yeah,
You know, in the UK we have a lot of US bases, right?
yeah.
Yeah, well they have sports teams,
Right,
right, and they have their own varsities.
right.
So localized to the UK, American Air Force bases with
And then they're like recently made.
no, they'll be
They've got old ones.
they'll be vintage, yeah.
Really? Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Wow. Have you?
Wow.
No, I just don't know. Like, what do they look like?
They're just like your standard leather arms,
right.
or
They've got no
chenilled up with the
no logos on them.
yeah, with the base that they're attached to. So like
Right.
if you're you're RAF Alconbury, it'd be like an Alconbury jacket.
Sick.
And if it was Lakenheath or Mildenhall.
I'm gonna check those out online, man. Yeah, if there's
That's
images, yeah, they do sound sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen where I live we've got a couple of bases nearby, and
Yeah.
every now and again you might see an old one. They're
Yeah, I'll check them
They're the
out
real
online,
deal,
man,
yeah.
for sure.
Sick.
pretty
Yeah.
unique.
Yeah, I do like these real McCoy ones, man. They're just like American,
They're good, yeah.
like team ones, you know. Yeah.
All over.
I've been looking online, but they're just like off the Real McCoy website. They're like, there's not a great selection, and they're fucking like a grand. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm looking for them. For
We've
like,
just been given a grand, man. Get yourself
oh
one
yeah,
of them.
right. Get myself one of those, man. 850 quid. Fucking hell. Yeah, no, they're great. You know,
Yeah.
they're great. We did make a varsity as well, actually, based off those.
Yeah, nice.
But we made it in like navy red and white, which is like classic American
Yeah.
colourway.
I still wear that jacket all the time. It's good,
Yeah.
man.
No, it's a great piece. I
Yeah.
want to make one in like more black and white.
Yeah.
I wear a bit more black than those sorts of colours, you know.
Yeah.
We'll
Yeah.
get there. We'll get there.
Any of them like movie set apparel items that would really like tick the box?
Movie ones.
Yeah,
we've had,
'cause-
what that we've had.
Yeah, or that you would like, or that you're searching for.
You know what I did find the other day? You know, my wife and kids, the comedy show, the American comedy show.
Yeah,
I found a varsity which just had embroidered in there my wife and kids, which
amazing.
must have been from the set,
Yeah,
or like maybe one of the actors wore it at a show or something like that.
Yeah.
We've had
reckon
HBO
it was.
bits like that. We had Bad Boys 2, Nike Varsity.
Yeah, that
Oh,
was
sick.
You know,
Yeah,
like that
yeah.
one. Yeah, that's
I'd love one of like any of the entourage stuff.
Oh, that'd be sick.
The crew apparel.
stuff's
that'd be sick.
wicked, man.
Yeah, so
I
good.
love stuff like, you know, and they did do varsities for, you know, we've had like Seinfeld bits.
Yeah.
But
Like-
that's the thing what you're saying. I like to find the ones I've never heard of, that I never knew existed.
Yeah.
Like the Bad Boys one, like the Nike one, that's like famous. Do you know? What I mean?
Yeah.
It was sick to have one. It was an amazing thing to have.
But
it's just
all
like-
these big films back in the day had them.
Yeah,
Had them like
true, I
Indiana Jones, all the
Yeah.
Spielberg stuff, like all
the,
these.
the American
yeah.
stuff always did. Like
Yeah.
a lot of British stuff, they didn't make as much merch.
No,
No.
but you have found we found last
We
summer.
have,
I
but they
found
made
those
less.
layer cake.
Oh,
layer
really?
cake sponsored by FC UK women's t-shirts. They were
that's
amazing.
cool.
Off someone we know who's like a friend of the shop. Kind of
amazing.
customer.
FC UK.
FC UK.
Fucking sick back
Made
in the
by
day.
them, innit?
Yeah, so they must have sponsored the. It said Cast and Crew.
Oh, wow.
Sorry, not layer cake. Snatch. They were
Oh,
Snatch.
I've seen it on
Sorry.
your Insta.
Yeah, they weren't layer cake. Snatch. I say layer cake because I've been looking for that online, which doesn't. I feel like they have the. Maybe that does exist somewhere, but yeah, we had 3 of these Snatch, like kind of like baby.
And a
tees,
lock stock
you know?
one as well, right?
And a lock stock one.
That's
yeah.
cool.
Stuff like that is out there. Super cool. And we sold all of them, and it's kind of like I regret selling them in a way, you know. So what? But then we're in the business of selling clothes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know. So like, you know, what are you gonna do?
Can't be like Noah's Ark.
You're gonna
can
wear
it?
the
Well, we're
women's
not an
one,
archive. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I thought maybe I'll start wearing the little one. Yeah,
strap top,
yeah, strapped on. Yeah.
lock stock, 2 smoking barrels.
You-
Yeah, man.
You want to do Mount
Yeah,
Rushmore and rapid?
Yeah, so each guest we like to ask what is their like, Mount Rushmore of sneakers. So your top 5, we give 5 choices,
Top
like your
5.
all time. Can be model or like model
colourway,
variant
yeah.
specific colorway, anything. Just your top 5.
Top 5 sneakers.
Yeah.
In no particular order, or you want it in order? Or
No,
what?
however you want to
Recently,
deliver
I've
it.
wanted the Hoka Moncler
Ooh.
Mafate 2. Is
Okay.
it?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
the model I've got on. Is
Yeah,
that
yeah. My
Yeah.
speed, my
Yeah,
speed
that-
too. Yeah.
pretty much my favourite Hoka at the moment? Hoka.
You love you. I see you all. You
Yeah.
love that shoe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this model I love. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I've been wearing it for the last couple of years. But there is a Moncler edition which is like silver and white,
Yeah.
which is crazy, man. I know it's not your typical like sneakerhead thing, but yeah, no, I just love that shoe, and I love Moncler as well. So I wouldn't ever wear another Moncler shoe because it's made by Hoka,
Yeah.
You fuck
like,
with it,
and
yeah.
it's just got the Moncler logo.
Yeah.
Like, it's fucking sick.
Yeah.
I think one of my mates has got a pet who lives in the States, but yeah, that's definitely on the list for me at the moment. That's just one that I can think of recently. And then also, I want a fresh pair of the NYC black and white Air Force, the low ones from back in the day.
Yeah.
You know them ones?
Classic. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a reissue one from maybe like 6 years ago, but I want an OG pair, man,
Yeah.
fresh. But I don't know what year that came out. I can't. It was like maybe mid 2000s.
Maybe a bit earlier than that.
Earlier, yeah,
Mm.
right, maybe 20 years. Or,
Yeah.
I don't know, damn, man.
Trying to think favourite sneaker, like growing up, it was Air Max 90s, man. For
Yeah.
me in North
Yeah.
London, like, you know, whether the infrared or just like, you know, that was kind of the shoe I wore growing up, man. Also, I was in North London. It was like a Reebok workout thing, man. You know, that was
Yeah.
like the uniform. You know, I'm trying to like other. I mean, I was also an Air Max 1 fan. You know, for years. You know, still do wear those. You know, I
Yeah.
still wear like the patter ones. You know, trying to think. You know, I kind of didn't really wear Air Force growing up too much, but in recent years I have. But yeah, those are kind of the shoes that spring to mind that really, like, across my life I've worn consistently. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What else, man? I do like 95s, but they're a bit chunky for me personally. You know, 95s.
Always do a fresh pair of the neons. Do you know
Yeah,
what I
I've
mean?
got
Yeah.
a few pairs. I just feel like they look better if you've got smaller feet. They're a bit they're a bit big. I don't know. But yeah, man. What else?
No,
Trying to think of
no
particular-
Jordan or Addy models.
I'm not really a
Not-
Jordan.
Yeah, never Jordans. Adidas some. Yeah, I've worn like certain you know, Gazelles or Sambas like over the years. You know, Sean actually gave me a pair of his ones, the cork ones, which
Yeah.
I love and I wear occasionally.
Yeah.
But yeah, never really been a Jordan head personally.
Yeah, my favourite Jordans that I owned were the money green ones from years ago. Bought them from Global Sports in Shepherd's Bush when
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know, man, probably like 16, 17, something like that. But that shop turned out to, they started selling fakes, that's why they got closed down.
Yeah.
But they definitely sold real shoes in the beginning.
Yeah.
But then the word in like, you know, in West London was that they started to I don't know, their links or their account must have. I don't know exactly how it worked, but they started putting fake sneakers in there basically. So I'm not sure if they were real or not. I was so young. Do you know what I mean?
They're real to you.
Yeah. They were the all white ones with the green.
Yeah.
People call them money greens, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember copping them. Yeah, I love those sneakers, man. I love them. But, yeah, I've never been into like Jordan 1s. It's not really for me, man. When I was when I was in school, like year 7, year 8, like early teens, I was wearing Dunks, like just navy and white Dunks from proper young. But I think my first ever Air Max was the infrareds. That I dragged my mum to Clapham Junction JD for when I was a kid. Yeah, that was probably my favourite. My first ever, sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't think of sneakers I'm looking for now, man. Can't really think. I love the like rare editions of the Air Force, like the West Indies ones.
Yeah.
Like I said, the NYC ones. Like those first time round, sick. I love them, you know. Just how fresh they are, because they transform into such fucking beaters after being worn.
Yeah.
When they're fresh, I just love them so much. Like there's not really another shoe that transforms so badly as you wear it. So if you find them pairs and they're fresh, it's just like it's unbeatable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's hard to, right? Because obviously most people just wore them
Yeah.
and didn't keep them box fresh. Yeah, we won't go back to that.
You want to wrap it?
Yeah, wrap it there.
Yeah,
Any more shoes to throw in the mix that you
You
could
listed every shoe under the sun.
yeah,
You said
that
five.
you
Shoot
can remember?
out, man.
Yeah.
Shoot
You
out.
said 5. I think I only did 3.
I
Any
don't
from
know.
childhood or
Prison Reebok Classics.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, the grey tracksuit, Holloway prison style. What else, man? Not really sure, man.
I mentioned a
Just
few
trying to think
earlier on in
about
the
shoes
chat.
I wore,
Yeah.
wore growing up, man. Like, I think a couple like mad pairs of like Prestos.
You had some
back in
sick
the day.
IDs in that.
I used to love an Air Max 90 ID, man.
Yeah.
Like when I was like 17, 18, when ID first became
Yeah.
a thing, like
Yeah.
I was that was like what I used to do. Go
Yeah.
in there and just like design a pair of 90s. For me, that's like the shoe really from my childhood. And I still wear a pair of them. Actually, in LA, I found a sick pair in I think it's in Flight Club on Fairfax. They had I don't know what they're called, but they're like 2008 or 7 Air Max 90s. Obviously, like fresh in the vacuum packed, you know. And they were like that colorway. They're just white, red and blue, just like really crisp. Do you know what I mean? Like that's still a favorite shoe of mine, man.
nice.
Yeah, but I can't really think of any more.
Yeah, another one of my favourites, which I used to buy fake ones from Wembley Market, was the LTDs.
Oh,
Yeah.
And the colourways that they used to do. That's what I wanted to talk about.
Eminem
actually,
fan.
The amount of colourways, yeah, that they. Am I an Eminem fan?
That was his shoe.
Oh right, yeah. I mean, I didn't really know that at the time, but I know now. You look at photos of him and he was wearing like sweatband, fucking like long.
He loved the
basketball shorts and nuts,
LTD. Yeah.
Even he wore a do rag, innit?
Yeah.
He did, innit?
Yeah.
Yeah, fair play, innit? He was around with the boys, innit?
Yeah.
But yeah, fucking man, the colorways that they used to do, yeah, God knows where they were getting made. I don't know, all the fakes, yeah, back in the day. But the colorways of the LTDs back in the day were unreal, and people would be like, "Oh, that colorway's hard." And like when I was a kid, some older people would be like, "Oh, like that's not a legit colorway," and I'd be like, "What?" Do you know what I mean? And like,
Yeah.
I was talking to other people about this, and they're like, "Yeah, I had the same thing. My elders were telling me like, oh, that colorway didn't exist, and I was heartbroken and shit like that." And so we didn't really understand that at Wembley they were fake. We just thought they were just rare, or like
Different.
they were like they were just like off the back of a lorry and things like that. Do you know what I mean? You didn't really understand when you were 14 or 15 that they were fake.
Yeah.
You were just like, oh, it's sick. They're 20 quid, 30 quid. You know, certain boss man would do like 2 pairs for 30 quid. You pay like 15 if you buy 2 pairs.
Yeah, I'm buying
mad.
an off bar for that now.
Yeah, but I wouldn't even go into shops like JD on my own until my mum was like, right, I'll get you 1 pair for school. Do you know what I mean? So I learned a lot about it through fake stuff.
Yeah.
Like a lot about brands and like Ralph Lauren and Diesel and Air Max, all through markets. Yeah. Shepherd's Bush and Wembley were the 2 that I went to a lot, man.
Yeah, I think did you have one growing up?
Or market.
Yeah, market where you could get anything.
Yeah, like Tiger shirts that you'd wear to the disco and shit
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, they sold all
Yeah,
that
yeah.
shit as
Yeah.
well. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a pair of LTDs, or black and like royal blue,
Yeah.
and
It was
that's one of those shoes that's it had a bit of a moment.
Yeah.
I know a couple of people who like 3-4 years ago were like trying to make that a thing,
Well, they did re-release them. They're the all black ones, isn't it?
but I just don't think it's like ever bubbled up like every other like.
It
Air
didn't
Max
come
has.
back like
Yeah.
it used to be.
No.
But when the first time round, it was huge.
Yeah.
That was a huge shoe, for sure. Proper like, you know, it was a shoe that you'd see everywhere on the street. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Older kids would have it. It was as popular as a TN back then.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like, when I was a kid, for sure.
Yeah.
20 years ago.
Yeah. Well, I think it was like the LTD was a JD shoe and the TM was the Foot Locker shoe. So
Right.
it was
Okay.
like,
Is that
Yeah.
the situation?
That makes
Yeah.
sense.
Right. Yeah.
yeah.
See, things like that when I was a kid, I didn't really know. Do you know what I mean? I'm just like, I'd see someone that was cool and older with a pair, and I'd be like, I have to get them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I
TN
mean?
definitely a Foot Locker shoe though.
Yeah.
Now I know all that.
Yeah,
do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? But when I
Well,
was
up
a
until
kid,
just recently, it was their shoe. They were the only, it was only them that were allowed to sell it.
Really?
It was literally their shoe. Yeah.
Mad. I mean, it,
It was
makes
there,
sense.
yeah.
I bought loads of TNs from Foot
Yeah,
Locker
I-
over the years.
Yeah.
it still is the spot to
Oh,
get,
yeah,
like,
yeah. I think they
Yeah.
call it the home of the TN. Yeah.
Yeah. Sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We good?
Yeah, we're good. I think,
Yeah. You want to wrap it there, Reese?
I think we've nailed
Anything
it,
else on
like.
your mind?
Yeah.
No, not really.
No. You want to explain the Pornhub tee?
It's on Pornhub tea, man. It's a fucking Supreme tea.
What's on the back?
Some fucking some like fucking skeleton shit. Pornhub tea, get in the bin, man. That's where your mind's at, innit?
It's fake taxi.
That's where your mind's at. So much of this is getting fucking cut, man. Right, thank you for watching, everybody. Thank the lads for coming on.
Yeah,
Thanks for
boys.
having us,
Thanks
man.
for
Yeah,
having us,
thanks
guys.
for coming on.
Really
Appreciate it. Yeah.
Thank you.
And
Yeah.
shout out Steve and TT London for
Yeah. The
hosting.
location.
Peace out, everyone. Have a good one.